Chapter 9:15. Chaos Demon C. Nope, you're quite timely. Yao Qian said with a smile. Are there only 3 of us this time? Yi Shiwen asked. He noticed that there seemed to have no other Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce warrior around, so he asked. Since it is only an adventure, there are only 3 of us. We will recruit companions before reaching Chaos Demon Sea. Seeing Yi Shiwen not know about it, Yao Qian explained. It turned out that the warriors typically go for an adventure in 2s and 3s, particularly for the Chaos Demon Sea. They would not organize a large group of warriors to experience in that place. Hence, many travelers came in a small team there. Before entering the Chaos Demon Sea, Yao Qian would invite a few to join in. In this way, the team would be completed. Compared with the large group, a small team size was the most suitable and the most flexible. In Chaos Demon Sea, it was likely to encounter a large number of sea demons. In this case, it would be difficult to escape in a large group. Of course, the temporary team would not be as closed as the 3 of them. Hence, the way they would select good teammates was also a paramount concern. After Yi Shiwen was readied, the 3 did not leave the Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce, but went straight to Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce's internal area. They would leave Sunny Bamboo Island through the secret passage in the Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce. As a rising behemoth, there should be many such secret passages. It was all for precautions. To prevent the danger of elimination, they could escape through the hidden path. No wonder Yao Qian was so confident of escaping the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan's chase and interceptions. When the 3 of them appeared again after half an hour, they were already in a sea region far away from Sunny Bamboo Island. It was where one of the secret paths of Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce led to. We have to leave quickly. The vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan must have lookouts in our Chamber of Commerce. If you disappear, they will probably know soon. At that time, although they don't know which route we are taking, they will soon start their pursuit and chase over to Chaos Demon Sea. They will soon hear the news of us adventuring at Chaos Demon Sea. We will need to face them in Chaos Demon Sea, said Yao Qian. What are you afraid of? For the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan member, I will kill those who dare to come. Bai Hanmo still appeared carefree. He didn't bat an eye to the coming vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan member. What do you know? The vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan members are distraught. Yao Qian looked at Yi Shiwen and said meaningfully, if pursuers are dispatched this time, I am afraid that the elites will come for us. If they manage to chase up to us, our life will be in danger, so we can only try to avoid them. Once we enter Chaos Demon Sea, we can be unscrupulous. The Chaos Demon Sea is a complicated place with various forces gathered. Even the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan isn't the overlord. The tyrannical clans at that place are the sea demons. They will never allow the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan to spread their influence in Chaos Demon Sea. Even if the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan elites come, the number will not be much. This will be our opportunity. Yao Qian spoke frankly with assurance. Before coming to this place, she had planned it all in consideration of potential problems. With this alone, she was far more mature than Bai Hanmo. What gave her confidence was the situation in Chaos Demon Sea. In Chaos Demon Sea, although it was a mess, it was a gathering place of the behemoths, the sea demon clans. It would be a great place to adventure because of the sea demon clan's permissive attitude. Many human clan experts and sea clans experts would murder many sea demon clans experts. On the other hand, the sea demon clans experts could gain experience. Those who were inferiors would be eliminated. Those who survived would be an elite. The foreign clans would gain experience from the sea demon clans. At the same time, the sea demon clans would utilize their opponents to tamper themselves. The higher-ups of the 3 parties were well aware that only through bloodshed could an expert be born. It was impossible to give birth to an expert in meticulous care like a cradle. It had the same principle of cultivating voodoo insects. Only the strongest could survive. It was still worthwhile even if the rest died. It was cruel to an individual, but valuable for the whole clan group. And let's get out of here as soon as possible. Yi Shiwen thought for a moment. He immediately understood what Yao Qian meant. Seeing that both of them said so, Bai Hanmo had nothing to say. Relatively speaking, he was eager to enter Chaos Demon Sea quickly. For the others, it might be a dangerous place, but it was a playground for him. The three of them had no objection, so they left quite soon. As Yao Qian expected, after they left, many experts of the Sea Demon clan had arrived in just half an hour. The leader was the Elder 18. There was Yi Hong behind him. The injury which Yi Shiwen inflicted was treated and healed completely. Damn it! These petty humans had escaped. Yi Hong said viciously with bloodshot eyes. His defeat in Yi Ziwen's hands was simply the greatest shame in his life. If it weren't for Yi Shiwen, how could he be so miserable? He had no rivals among his peers in the clan during his upbringing. Except for the Crown Prince Crocodile, who was one of the best, the rest of the young talents could not outshine him. That time, he thought it would be a piece of cake, but he suffered a heavy loss in Yi Ziwen's hands and almost died. If it hadn't been for Elder 18 making a move regardless of the occasion, his corpse would be lying cold for a long time. Whenever he thought of this scene, he would tremble with anger. Yi Hong wanted to wash away the shame that Yi Shiwen inflicted. To achieve that, Yi Hong had a strong desire to kill Yi Shiwen by mutilating his corpse and burning his spirit into ashes. According to our insider in the Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce, that slut helped him escape, said Elder 18 gloomily. His voice was cold and murderous. But unfortunately, she probably never dreamed of it. We have our insiders within the Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce. Her whereabouts are in our grasp. Unfortunately, I just don't know where they went, Yi Hong said suddenly with some regret. From the direction of their secret path, there is only one place to go. That will be the Chaos Demon Sea. Only the Chaos Demon Sea is taboo for the major forces in the Flourish Cloud Sea region. Even our vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan can't spread our influence there. If they want to escape, there is only one place, Chaos Demon Sea. Elder 18 judged Yao Qian's direction instantly with no hesitation. For an experienced sly fox like him, he could figure out many things in a moment. If they go to other places, then they can only fall into the net of my clan with no chance to escape. I believe that little slut must have thought of this, so I am sure they must have gone to the Chaos Demon Sea. Many vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan experts who followed Elder 18 nodded, agreeing to Elder 18's judgment. Then let's catch up quickly, said Yi Hong impatiently. Wait, the Chaos Demon Sea is a taboo place. Although the Sea Demon clans appear chaotic, they are quite united against foreign influences. They restrict our major forces from sending a large number of people here. If we want to go there, we need to go in a small team. Moreover, it is quite conspicuous for our clan members to go like this. It will attract the attention of the Sea Demon clan's higher-ups soon. When the time comes, it will stir up a storm and become unconducive for us. I'm not going, but you can, said Elder 18. Me. Yi Hong blushed suddenly and was ashamed. He thought that Elder 18 was deliberately humiliating him. He was not Yi Ziwen's opponent previously. Sending him alone to hunt Yi Shiwen was the same as exposing his throat to the opponent blatantly. This suggestion was simply a humiliation. But then it occurred to him that Elder 18 wouldn't be like this. He quickly calmed his mood and continued listening. Elder 18 didn't seem to notice Yi Hong's reaction at all and continued. The Crown Prince of my clan and several other young experts are adventuring this place. After you enter, immediately find a way to gather with them. Ask them to do everything possible to get rid of these people. I will lead the clan members to guard at the Chaos Demon Sea's periphery. As long as they dare to show up, it will be a dead end. Yi Hong immediately understood the Elder 18's intention and was immediately overjoyed. If Crown Prince Crocodile were there, then Yi Shiwen would be dead with no chance to survive. In front of the mighty Crown Prince Crocodile, Yi Shiwen couldn't survive. Whether they came out or not, Yi Shiwen and the group would end up dead. Although he could not kill Yi Shiwen personally with his own hands, he couldn't care less. If this continued, the inner demon in his heart would become more robust. Self-destruct was even possible. Moreover, he also knew very well that he was unmatched to Yi Shiwen. Being able to gain a helping hand was enough for him. Chapter 9:16. Inexplicable hostility. After a full day, the three were able to fly to the area outside Chaos Demon Sea. Just at the periphery area, the three of them could feel a terrifying demon wind blowing out of it. It turned the surrounding spiritual energy into a demon aura. Yi Shiwen could even hear the roar of the demonic beasts. The demon aura did not just infect the sea clans and turn them into sea demon clans. The aura had also evolved many vicious beasts into demonic sea beasts. They were more bestial as compared to the ordinary ferocious sea beasts. Especially in an environment like Chaos Demon Sea, the demonic sea beasts were definitely a terrifying race second only to the sea demon clans. The three did not directly enter Chaos Demon Sea, but went to the nearby Chaos Demon City. This was a city rooted in the entire Chaos Demon Sea. Those who would wish to enter and leave would stop at this place to gain supplies. The three of them went straight into the Chaos Demon City. The scene of the city was still chaotic. The entry of the three did not attract anyone's attention. Yao Qian came to the Chaos Demon City once. It was much better than being blind in this city. Probably due to the demon aura, the city was much more chaotic than outside. There were no rules here. If there was only one rule, whoever had a giant fist make the call. Just less than a quarter of an hour after entering Chaos Demon City, Yi Shiwen encountered two fights, and even one of them had a death case. Because of this, everyone looked at this situation indifferently. No one came forward to take care of this matter. It was precisely because of this that Yi Shiwen could see the chaos within Chaos Demon Sea. It was more chaotic than he thought. If the Chaos Demon City were already chaotic, then Chaos Demon Sea would be hell. It would be a place with no rules at all. Anyone could be transformed into a demon because without any rules, everyone's ambitions would be magnified countless times in an instant. Even people were getting infected by demon aura because of their heart's ambitions, and evolved into human demons or new sea demons. They would become terrifying killers wandering in the Chaos Demon Sea, specializing in hunting sea clans or human clan experts. In Chaos Demon City, there was no distinction between the human clan and sea clan because there was no need at all. Everyone came to Chaos Demon City with only one purpose, and everyone was a competitor. It's interesting here. No one rules this place. Seeing this chaotic scene, Bai Hanmo was not worried. On the contrary, he was even vaguely excited. He was a lawless kid, hating all the rules and constraints. Haha, I like this place. Yao Qian didn't answer. They just took the two of them into a hotel and waited quietly. Sister Yao, what are we doing here? Why aren't we leaving? Asked Bai Hanmo. Yi Shiwen also looked at Yao Qian but believed that Yao Qian must have her reasons. Otherwise she would never do so. You'll find out in a while. Yao Qian just smiled faintly. The three of them waited for a full half an hour. Bai Hanmo was a little impatient. At this time, there was a bold voice from the first floor of the restaurant. Why Sister Yao didn't come to us when she returned to Chaos Demon City? Accompanied by this bold voice, a series of footsteps came from the bottom of the building. Three figures appeared in everyone's eyes. It was a combination of two men and one woman. The headed person was a middle-aged man with brown hair and a beard. He looked sturdy, with a hearty smile on his face. Behind him was a young man about 20 years old. He dressed in a Chinese robe with a slight excitement on his face, looking straight at Yao Qian. Beside him, there was a woman in her 20s with an ordinary appearance, but she had a bit of sassy air on her. She had a woman's vibe that a typical woman did not have. The three people quickly imprinted in the eyes of the three Yi Shiwen. Yi Ziwen's heart moved. Hearing the words of the middle-aged man headed by the head, he could almost tell that Yao Qian was an old acquaintance. It was not the first time Yao Qian came to Chaos Demon Sea. This was already the second time. Presumably, this should be the friend she met when she came last time. This was not surprising. At this time, Yi Shiwen finally realized that it was these people who Yao Qian was waiting here this time. The young man became excited at the moment he saw Yao Qian, but when he saw Yi Shiwen and Bai Hanmo next to him, he suddenly became a little gloomy. Sister Yao, who are these people? Bai Hanmo was a little curious, so he asked straightforwardly. Hearing Bai Hanmo's address, the young man was relieved. His hostility toward Bai Hanmo became much less. The remaining hostility fell on Yi Shiwen. Although it was well hidden, Yi Shiwen was sensitive to these. How could this man be able to hide it from him? Almost in a moment, Yi Shiwen was aware of it. Yi Shiwen frowned slightly. Although he didn't know where this young man's hostility came from, he felt the sting in his heart. He didn't know what the misunderstanding was in it, though it was not necessary to him. The important thing was that the young man was hostile to him. However, the origin of these three people was not exact. Most importantly, they were Yao Qian's friends. Yi Shiwen held it in, but he had secretly remembered it in his heart. Let me introduce you. They are the famous demon hunting squad in this Chaos Demon City, the Bear Team. They used to fight alongside me before. This is Captain Xiong Qingji He Yulong, and my closest sister, Yu Cixi. Yao Qian put a slight smile on her face. She immediately introduced, "This is my brother, Bai Hanmo, and this is my friend Yi Shiwen." Hearing Yi Ziwen's name, everyone did not respond. Although Yi Shiwen had become famous on Sunny Bamboo Island, he was still not heard in Chaos Demon Sea. Even if he had fame in Chaos Demon Sea, it would not move the Bear Team at all. The most indispensable thing in Chaos Demon Sea was such famous people from other places. It could even be said that Chaos Demon Sea was the Flourish Cloud CC region's core area. Warriors who could cross the Chaos Demon Sea would be famous if they were put in other places. Those popular in other places would not necessarily survive in Chaos Demon Sea. In the harsh environment of Chaos Demon Sea, similar to Voodoo Insect Cultivation Ground, many experts had dropped a lot. It was incomparable to other similar forces. However, the quality of experts would be in a constant increase. When Yao Qian said that Bai Hanmo was only his younger brother, He Yulong's face clearly showed a somewhat relaxed expression. The only bit of hostility towards Bai Hanmo disappeared without a trace. On the other hand, he was wary of Yi Shiwen. When he didn't notice, Bai Hanmo threw him a disdainful smile, as if mocking him. "Sister Yao, we haven't seen each other for a long time. Since you left the Chaos Demon Sea, I have no news of you anymore. If it weren't our people who saw you appearing today, I'm afraid we will have no way to meet up." Xiong Ziqing, the captain of the Bear Team, just said with a laugh. He didn't seem to realize the peculiar atmosphere. Yao Qian was different from the people in the Bear Team. The people in the Bear Team were professional demon hunters. They hunt sea demons in exchange for sufficient cultivation resources. They might stay in Chaos Demon Sea for life. Yao Qian was different. She had a powerful clan outside of this place. She didn't need to hunt sea demons like these demon hunters in exchange for cultivation resources. The reason why she appeared in Chaos Demon Sea was just for the experience. After the adventure, she would naturally go back. It could even be said that she was a person from another world. "I have a lot of work lately. I'm quite busy. Please forgive me." Yao Qian only asked for forgiveness. After her previous adventure in Chaos Demon Sea, she was trained as the heir of Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce. All of the affairs in the Chamber of Commerce were utterly handed over to her. If it weren't for the top 100 list competition to begin soon, which pushed her to go for an adventure, she was most likely still dealing with affairs in Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce. "Captain Xiong is the one who cared for me the most. To me, he is like a brother," Yao Qian said while facing Bai Hanmo and Yi Shiwen. She also noticed something wrong with the atmosphere, but she hadn't found out what was wrong. At this time, she was trying to foster a relationship between the two parties. "I see." Hearing Yao Qian's words, Bai Hanmo's eyes on Xiong Qingji changed slightly. Hearing this, Xiong Qingji didn't have much pride, only a depressing feeling. Their Bear Team, among the Demon Hunter team in the entire Chaos Devil City, could be regarded as quite famous. However, they were in an entirely different world in comparison to the two men following Yao Qian. His words did not carry the same weight as Yao Qian's words. Just because of Yao Qian's words, Bai Hanmo's attitude changed. For him there was a sense of frustration. He could only comfort himself that they were all newcomers. It was normal that since they had never been to Chaos Devil City, it was natural these bunch had never heard of him. Chapter 9:17. Ambush from the back. Yi Shiwen remained silent, and somewhat got an idea about why Yao Qian stopped here. She was probably waiting for the Bear Team. Like what Yao Qian had said, she would get a team after arriving at the Chaos Demon Sea's perimeter. It should probably be this Bear Team. After all, Only the size of this bear team would meet their requirements. Chaos Demon Sea and Chaos Demon City were disorderly places with no rules governing them. There was only one simple truth. Those having the bigger fist was the king. No city lord was managing the order. The city itself was formed through the congregation of many types of people. There was no strong ruler from the beginning. Even if there were, they would probably be the ones stirring up chaos rather than taking care of the problem. Therefore, under the environment's influence, most of the people here were like the demon clan. Cunning, cruel, and all kinds of negative words could be reflected in them. Therefore, even if in a temporary team, betrayal would take place. In just an instant, the team would fall apart. Most of the time, the reason was the uneven distribution of the spoils. Therefore, it was paramount to handpick a qualified teammate who would not betray casually. This bear team had cooperated with Yao Qian in the past. Their cooperation should be quite pleasant. So this time, Yao Qian chose the bear team after entering Chaos Demon Sea again. The reason she waited here was to have the bear team discover her. Thinking of this, Yi Shiwen understood the situation immediately. For him, it didn't matter who he worked with. It wouldn't have much impact on him, but he naturally sought to cooperate with reliable teammates. If the bear team was not bad, Yi Shiwen didn't mind working with them to explore Chaos Demon Sea. After all, they were the local experts here. It was much more convenient and easier with them leading the way. What's the deal? Sister Yao wants to have an adventure at Chaos Demon Sea again this time, asked Xiong Zicheng. Yao Qian's intention was evident since she returned to Chaos Demon City and appeared in their sight. And Yao Qian didn't hide anything but just said with a faint smile, "We are going to have an adventure in the Chaos Demon Sea again. I wonder if Captain Xiong has the time." Hearing Yao Qian's words, Xiong Zicheng frowned slightly. He appeared troubled. "It will be the best if Sister Yao joins our bear team. But now most of our bear team members are all scattered, and all have their respective tasks. The only ones here at this time are the three of us. If Sister Yao is not in a hurry, it's best to wait another month or two. They shall return as soon as they can." Xiong Zicheng said. "At that time, we will have more confidence to enter the Chaos Demon Sea." 1 or 2 months was just a short time for a transcendent realm powerhouse with a lifespan of 10,000 years. Hence, waiting for a few months should be nothing at all. It's fine to have only 3 for the team. With another 3 on our side, we will have the 6-person team, said Yao Qian directly. She could not afford any delay. The vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan must have discovered that they left quietly. At this time, the opposing clan must have laid a trap and waited for them. They might be entering Chaos Demon City at any second. In this case, the trio must leave as soon as possible. Otherwise, the enemies would catch up at any time. Xiong Zicheng noticed Yao Qian was in a hurry. In that case, the 3 of us will accompany Sister Yao to Chaos Demon Sea. Sister Yao came to Chaos Demon Sea this time to gain experience for the upcoming Top 100 competition, right? During this period, many young experts are coming here because of this reason. The ordinary-looking woman Yucisi said. Yao Qian nodded and did not deny. Hearing Yao Qian's words, the rest of the bear team understood the hurry. Since that's the case, let's not delay any further and enter Chaos Demon Sea quickly, said Xiong Zicheng. He noticed Yao Qian's anxiety, so he didn't speak much and concluded the conversation. It's fine to go to Chaos Demon Sea, but Chaos Demon Sea is not a place that everyone can go to. If you are not strong enough, you will only die in the sea demon's hands. It is better not to go. He Yulong barged in abruptly. His target was Yi Shiwen. Although he did not state it clearly, the person with insufficient strength was referring to Yi Shiwen. Only Yi Shiwen seemed to have the lowest cultivation, merely transcendent realm 3rd level. At this time, he put forward such a statement with only one purpose, to exclude Yi Shiwen. It was not that transcendent realm 3rd level couldn't enter Chaos Demon Sea. As long as a warrior attained the transcendent realm, the warrior could enter Chaos Demon Sea. There were even some half-step transcendent realm warriors having adventure here. Some elites among great sage warriors would roam in Chaos Demon Sea. However, Chaos Demon Sea was also divided into many levels of danger. Warriors with different strengths would go to other places. Due to this, there could be strength distinctions among the team members, but the gap would not be significant. Otherwise, they would not be able to go together. Once they entered a dangerous place, the weaker warrior might die. However, if the team went to an area with inconsiderable danger, it had no benefit to the stronger player, including the loot they could get. Yi Shiwen seemed to be dragging the whole team back. What is wrong with you? Before Yi Shiwen spoke, Bai Hanmo spoke immediately and asked directly. I have no other ill intention. If he is not strong enough, he will only slow down our team, said He Yulong. Yulong doesn't have any ill intention. His words are reasonable. If Yi Shiwen is not strong enough, I am afraid he will only drag the whole team down in the end. Xiong Ziqing said with a slight worry. He had the most credit as the bear team came a long way in the competitive Chaos Demon City. He had always been cautious, preferring to give up rather than doing uncertain things. For the whole team, it was undoubtedly fatal to have a teammate dragging them down. If this is the case, then let's not cooperate, blurted Yi Shiwen. He did not even mention the reason. He had already felt the hostility of He Yulong to him. He held it in because he was Yao Qian's friend. Since the other party was targeting him, Yi Shiwen couldn't bear it anymore. Anyway, no one is irreplaceable in this world. Do we have no one to cooperate with at Chaos Demon City? Yi Shiwen got up and turned around as soon as he finished speaking. He walked out and left these three people here without batting an eye. The three of their expressions immediately turned ugly and gloomy. No matter what the situation was, being ignored was irritating. Arrogant. Can you come and go as you please? He Yulong felt humiliated. Yi Shiwen belittled him blatantly. His relationship with Yao Qian also enraged He Yulong on the spot. He Yulong launched an attack instantly, throwing a punch at Yi Zaiwen's back. The fist trembled the air violently as it went straight to Yi Zaiwen's back. He Yulong was a little proud since he had the strength at Transcendent Realm 6th level. At his age, he was outstanding among his peers. Shameless! Bai Hanmo suddenly roared, and was about to take action. Yao Qian, who was beside him, also frowned in anger. He Yulong made a move disregarding her. It made her furious. Before Bai Hanmo reacts to the incoming punch to Yi Zaiwen's back, Yi Shiwen turned around and punched out. Between his 5 fingers, the golden divine light surged out instantly, forming a golden punch. It collided with the incoming punch immediately. Bang! There was no hesitation in the 2 punches. The immense collision morphed into a massive energy ball. After a short pause, the energy ball began to sweep in all directions. Boom! Above this restaurant, countless warriors were scared away. The tables and chairs were utterly crushed. Fortunately, the entire building was not shattered. It appeared that because fights happened in Chaos Demon City every day, the buildings here were also exceptionally strong, far stronger than the outside world. Yi Zaiwen's golden fist impact resembled a sharp blade, breaking away He Yulong's fist momentum without any hindrance. It blasted directly on He Yulong's body. Boom! He Yulong spouted out blood. His figure resembled a kite with a broken string. He flew upside down and crashed directly into the wall. You! How dare you strike such a vicious blow? Yu Cece was cold, standing in front of Yi Shiwen. She said, flustered and exasperated. Seeing her companion that was with her for a long time, she lost her rationality immediately. If it weren't for Yao Qian's sake, I would have beaten him to death with a single blow. He dares ambush me from the back. He is nothing in my eye. Yi Shiwen sneered, but he didn't lie. His punch was terrifying, especially after completing the meteor explosion technique. During the deduction, he also had a deeper understanding of Shattered Star Fist. The fist impact was much stronger than that in the past. Chapter 9:18. To Chaos Demon see if Yi Shiwen did not give mercy, He Yulong was already killed on the spot. Although He Yulong had already entered the Transcendent Realm 6th level, he was outmatched by Yi Hong. He even had a significant gap with Chai Jianben. After 2 consecutive battles, Yi Zaiwen's strength had greatly improved. He had undergone growth, seemingly invincible at the Transcendent Realm 6th level. Yi Zaiwen's question made Yu Cece flushed. She could not retort at all. At the spur of the moment, she went to Yi Zaiwen's question just now. After gaining back her rationality, She knew He Yulong was at fault in this situation, no matter what. It couldn't be helped. If He Yulong won just now, she could raise the narration that He Yulong had keen eyes in realizing that Yi Shiwen was a burden. The reality happened otherwise. He suffered a fatal injury in Yi Ziwen's hands. In the end, it was him inflicting shame on himself. Impossible. Blood dripped at the corner of He Yulong's mouth. His eyes were filled with disbelief and shock. As a Transcendent Realm 6th level, he couldn't imagine that he would lose to a Transcendent Realm 3rd level warrior. It was simply impossible in his worldview. In his perception, Transcendent Realm 6th level was distinctive to Transcendent Realm 3rd level. There was a significant gap between both sides. One was Transcendent Realm Initial, and the other was Transcendent Realm Intermediate. The difference was like heaven and earth. However, he was unmatched to Yi Shiwen. Worse still, there was no intense battle. Yi Ziwen defeated him utterly. He had no excuses for his defeat. It was what it was. His ambush on Yi Ziwen's back did not change anything. The defeat was evident as it was. This tilted his inherent outlook on life. He had not suffered much damage due to Yi Ziwen's mercy. What he found unacceptable was having nothing to fight back. On the other side, Xiong Ziqing's face was also ugly at this time. In any case, He Yulong was a member of his bear team after all. He was beaten by outsiders and could not fight back. It brought shame to him. Captain Xiong, what is going on? Yao Qian stepped forward, staring at Xiong Ziqing, and said, although she had a pleasant cooperation with the bear team before, what happened made her furious. He Yulong attacked from behind. It was despicable. Worse still, he was not attacking an enemy but a possible collaborator in the future. Excuse me, Yulong is just assessing this little brother's strength. After all, it is dangerous to enter the Chaos Demon Sea. If he is weak, he will only drag the whole team down. You have also entered once. So, I think you should be able to understand our caution. Xiong Ziqing sighed. He was well aware it was all because of Yao Qian. It was well known in the bear team that He Yulong liked Yao Qian. Yi Shiwen, the young man who appeared next to Yao Qian, became a thorn in his eye. After all, it was because he liked Yao Qian too much. But Captain Xiong wouldn't be able to say it out, so he grabbed an excuse. Yao Qian thought for a moment. It was not the first time that she came to Chaos Demon Sea. Naturally, she knew what kind of place Chaos Demon Sea was. It was indeed a dangerous place. If one were to be lackluster, it would be digging his own grave. Xiong Ziqing's words made sense, but what He Yulong did still made her furious. She could not swallow her anger. After all, she led Yi Shiwen here. If you disregard the monk, be respectful to the Buddha one. Yi Shiwen did not deal a heavy blow in respect of her. However, He Yulong treated Yi Shiwen harshly. It was like doubting her. Even so, can you sneak attack on others from behind? Not to mention that you can't win with a sneak attack. If I were him, I would suicide. Bai Hamo sneered on the side, seemingly disdainful toward He Yulong's behavior. He Yulong, who had already suffered a defeat, puked another mouthful of blood after having heard this. He was so angry that he fainted directly. Bai Hamo showed scornful and disdainful expression. He seemed to be insinuating that He Yulong was useless. With simple words, He Yulong couldn't stand it anymore. Neither Xiong Ziqing nor Yucisi had anything to say about it. After all, He Yulong's surprise attack from behind was a fact. They couldn't do anything about it. At this time, they could only complain that He Yulong lost his mind and committed such a thing. Even if he liked Yao Qian, he shouldn't do that. Well, let's reduce the share we take by 10% if we enter the Chaos Demon Sea. What do you think? Xiong Ziqing said as he gritted his teeth. Like the young experts who came in from outside, they liked to work with the local experts in Chaos Demon City. After all, the local experts had a lot of experience and knew a lot of hidden secrets. If they could cooperate with the local experts, their risk of dying would considerably decline. These local experts were also willing to cooperate with these outsiders. Those who dared to enter Chaos Demon Sea must be the elite. They must be the best in the same realm, and even among the peers. Coupled with the local experts' experience and the foreigner's strength, it would often be a fruitful adventure. Yao Qian was undoubtedly someone they sought. Yi Shiwen just now made the best display of his strength with this punch. He was a guy who was not easy to mess with. But it was precise because of this that the bear team was even more reluctant to give up. Generally speaking, the ratio of outsiders and local experts splitting the loot was 40% and 60%, respectively. Equal share for both sides was common too. A reduction of 10% could also be regarded as Xiong Ziqing's compromise. 20%. Otherwise, there is no point in discussing this matter. Yi Shiwen said on behalf of Yao Qian at this time. He could see that Yao Qian was in a dilemma in this matter. After all, the previous cooperation between the bear team was pleasant. Yi Shiwen didn't mind acting as the bad guy right now. Yao Qian was about to speak, but she didn't add on when Yi Shiwen said something. Fine 20%. Although it had been reduced by 20%, Xiong Ziqing also thought it was worth it. After all, such an opportunity was relatively rare. If the bear team did not cooperate with the trio, many people in the city sought this cooperation. Although the strength of the bear team was good, they were not the only demon hunting squad. Without them, the trio could seek cooperation from others. With their strength, they would be sought after. This kind of cooperation between the demon hunting squad and an outsider was frequent in Chaos Demon City. The only problem was that there were no rules at all in Chaos Demon City and Chaos Demon Sea. No restrictions existed. There could be situations in which both parties face off each other. It was not easy to find a familiar and trustworthy teammate. In this Chaos Demon Sea, some outsiders were led to remote places by those demon hunting squads. They would be wiped out. However, there were also demon hunting squads surrounded by those cunning outsiders and got wiped out. It was challenging to obtain mutual trust. Therefore, Yao Qian was determined to meet with the bear team. Captain Xiong felt guilty to Yao Qian in his heart. He didn't expect that He Yulong would do such a thing. Hence, he agreed as compensation. Right, I have one last request. I don't want this fellow to get involved. I don't want to see him around anymore, said Yi Shiwen, pointing to He Yulong, who had passed out in a coma on the ground. No problem, wouldn't it be too few people with only the 5 of us? Doubted Xiong Ziqing. Having one person short would bring a significant impact on the overall strength of the entire team. It doesn't matter. It would not affect much, said Yi Shiwen. Xiong Ziqing and Yu Cixi had no way to refute. After all, He Yulong had almost no power to fight back in Yi Ziwen's hands. It appeared that missing one did not hinder the team. And Yao Qian nodded and said, "Our top priority now is to enter the Chaos Demon Sea quickly. The Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan experts might be here at any time." The trio didn't have much time to delay. "Okay, let's set off right away," Xiong Ziqing said when they saw both Yi Shiwen and Yao Qian seem hurried. He Yulong was quickly taken back by those outer members of the bear team, while the 5 of them did not stop for a moment, and went directly to Chaos Demon Sea. Half a day after the team left, the Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan experts had arrived. The leader was none other than Yi Hong. Yi Hong rushed into Chaos Demon City with a gloomy look. Chaos Demon City was not Chaos Demon Sea. The Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan also has some influence at this place. Yi Hong's arrival mobilized most of the clan's forces. Soon, Yi Hong knew that Yi Shiwen and others had left not long ago. "Damn bitch," Yi Hong whispered viciously. He then directly sent a transmission talisman and contacted the Crown Prince Crocodile in Chaos Demon Sea. He was determined to hunt Yi Shiwen down in Chaos Demon Sea. Chapter 919. Purple Ghost Fire Lotus. In a vast demon sea, 5 figures appeared. In front of them, a massive and vicious sea beast was relentless. As its enormous body continued to turn and twist, a monstrous wave was set off. The wave launched water swords that rushed to the 5 people standing atop the demon sea. In this endless demon sea, dense demon auras were boiling frantically. TSK, the human powerhouse's flesh and blood are the best, the massive demonic sea beast said. His laughter was wild. Before he could continue to attack, Yi Shiwen had already made a move. A fiery long saber grew larger and larger in the sky. Until the end, it slashed downward with an uncontested momentum. The wheezing slash was deafening. The boundless demon aura was cut in half instantly. Puff! The intimidating and massive demonic sea beast was so vulnerable. It couldn't withstand a single blow from Yi Shiwen. It was directly beheaded in half with blood spurted out. The massive body broke into two halves and fell directly from the sky into the sea, setting off another monstrous wave. The massive demonic sea beast was at Transcendent Realm 5th level, which was nothing to a true expert. However, it didn't recognize the disparity in strength and coveted this team's idea. Yi Shiwen slashed it in half with a saber. Yi Shiwen opened his palm. A blood-dyed ray came out of Yi Ziwen's palm. Yi Shiwen absorbed all flesh and blood in that massive demonic sea beast into Tianyuan mirror instantly. Only the skin remained. Yi Shiwen immediately grabbed the Niden one. Yi Shiwen swallowed it directly into his body. The demonic sea beast's vigor and blood essence were all absorbed by Tianyuan mirror, which then transformed into pure energy and instilled into Yi Ziwen's body. Yi Shiwen felt his cultivation grew a bit stronger. Insuppressible elation was revealed on his face. Such harvest was only plausible in Chaos Demon Sea. After all the creatures in Chaos Demon Sea, including the sea clans and demonic sea beasts, had half of the demon bloodline. They could be regarded as half a demon clan, so Yi Shiwen could absorb the flesh and blood's essence to enhance his energy. After only a few days in Chaos Demon Sea, his cultivation had greatly improved. He had progressed a lot from Transcendent Realm 3rd level initial. At this rate, he would reach Transcendent Realm 3rd level peak in a month. With that, it opened the opportunity for him to attain Transcendent Realm 4th level. His foresight told him that after reaching Transcendent Realm 4th level, his combat power would be comparable to Transcendent Realm 7th level. It would be a significant increment. The rest of the team was used to it. In the past few days, everyone had become accustomed to what they had witnessed. For everyone, even if it was only Transcendent Realm 5th level, it was still a demonic sea beast after all. With its massive body size, it had become a formidable opponent, which the average Transcendent Realm 6th level expert struggled to deal with. Although any team members could slay this demonic sea beast, it would never be as simple and easy as Yi Shiwen. Yi Shiwen defeated the demonic sea beasts with merely one slash, ultimately catching the demonic sea beast off guard. It had no way to resist. They didn't know that Yi Shiwen possessed the Tianyuan mirror and extraordinary ability to restrain the demon race bloodline. Even if the demon race was stronger than Yi Shiwen could completely restrain them with Tianyuan mirror. This was the fundamental reason why Yi Shiwen frequently hunted after he came to Chaos Demon Sea. The vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan would never let him off easily. He was required to improve his strength continually. Absorbing the demonic sea beast's blood essence was undoubtedly the most effective way to do so. Therefore, Yi Shiwen chose to kill more powerful demonic sea beasts and absorb their vigor and blood essence, so that his cultivation could quickly advance into Transcendent Realm 3rd level peak. Yi Shiwen occupied the vigor and blood essence of the demonic sea beast alone, including the Niden. Yet the others had nothing to say. Yi Shiwen did not lay his hand on the martial art instruments and spirit crystals on the Sea Demon Clan experts. He left all these items to them. Of course, Bai Hanmo and Yao Qian didn't mind. For Xiong Ziqing and Ucc of the Bear team, they were satisfied with the distributions. Although these demonic sea beasts were powerful, their flesh and blood were not useful. It was all due to their demon clan bloodline. The average person couldn't ingest them directly at all. Otherwise, they would be prone to chi deviation. The Naiden's effect was limited. Therefore, the loot distribution was the most optimum for them. In general, everyone got what they needed. With professional demon hunters like Xiong Ziqing and Ucc, Yi Shiwen and others took lesser detours. They even avoided Sea Clan experts' ambushes several times. They all evacuated first because Xiong Ziqing and Ucc had discovered the encirclement early. Otherwise, it would be another challenging and bloody battle. But even so, the team was still going through various battles frequently every day due to Chaos Demon Sea's chaotic situation. After gaining battle experiences, there was a significant improvement for the entire team. Yao Qian made rapid progress. While fighting and comprehending her martial art technique, she absorbed the energy in the previously ingested pellets. Her cultivation increased rapidly. At this rate, she could reach the Transcendent Realm 7th level before the top 100 competition. In that case, she would be in the lead among the younger generation of experts. Her placement in the top 20 was almost guaranteed. Bai Hanmo's progress was outstanding too. His talent was robust already. After years of training and accumulation, what he lacked was battle experiences. In the battle, his accumulation throughout the years hard turned fruitful. It rapidly turned into growth in cultivation. Therefore, the trio's gains were basically at cultivation growth. For Xiong Jiqing and Yucici, their gains were mostly martial art instruments. Both parties got what they wanted in this cooperation. Everyone was satisfied. It was a gluttonous feast for Yi Shiwen. Time went by in this manner. 3 months had passed. During the 3 months, Yi Shiwen, Yao Qian and others wandered in the Chaos Demon Sea's outer area, almost at the edge. They dared not dive deeper into the place. They said that the demonic sea beast clan's higher-ups gathered in the depths of Chaos Demon Sea. That place was well recognized as a gathering place for many law manifestation experts who had surpassed the Transcendent Realm. Although Yi Shiwen wanted to improve quickly, he was not an idiot who was ignorant of his limits. But even if it was only in the outer area, it was still dangerous. They even encountered a terrifying Transcendent Realm 9 levels demonic sea beast lurking in the outer area. At that time, it was hunting for food. Although there was a far distance, everyone felt this horrifying monster's existence and did not approach it. In addition to the Transcendent Realm 9th level demonic sea beast, Yi Shiwen and others also encountered the existence at Transcendent Realm 8th level several times. These formidable opponents included demonic sea beast clans and sea demon clans. The situation was thrilling. But fortunately, the experienced Xiong Jiqing was with the team. So every time at the moment they were about to be discovered, everyone escaped in time. On this day, in an underground oceanic trench, a dark and translucent lotus flower bloomed. Is this purple ghost fire lotus? It was Yucici's exclamation. Astonishment flashed in her eyes. What is purple ghost fire lotus? Bai Hanmo asked. This is a rare natural treasure. It has a purple color and is translucent. For the Sea Demon clan, it is a tonic supplement. The Transcendent Realm Sea Demon clans would raise their level by 1 if they were to ingest it. Any flower boom of its kind is rare. Countless Sea Demon clan experts and even demonic sea beasts will fight for it. Every time it appears, there will be a bloodbath. Throughout the lotus flower encounters recorded in Chaos Demon Sea, each harvest is accompanied with the death of many sea demonic clan experts and demonic sea beasts. Xiong Jiqing explained dutifully. It's a pity that purple ghost fire lotus is a lethal poison for humans, unlike its tonic property to the sea demon clans and demonic sea beasts. The purple ghost fire lotus can only bloom under dense demon auras. With that, there is a lot of demon aura in it. If a human swallows it directly, it will collapse the qi and dantian in the body. Everyone felt the flower was quite precious with its excellent property to advance their cultivation by 1 level. However, after learning that the treasure was only for the Sea Demon clan, everyone was naturally less interested than they initially were. After all, there would be a terrible ramification for the human race. Yi Shiwen, get your hands on that purple ghost fire lotus quickly. Yi Mo's voice abruptly appeared in Yi Ziwen's ear. Have you ascended successfully? Yi Shiwen asked in surprise. Nope, I was startled by the aura emitted from the purple ghost fire lotus. Yi Mo continued. I'm quite sensitive to the demon aura. You mean, we can assimilate it with the Tianyuan mirror? Yi Shiwen had a great tacit understanding with Yi Mo after all these years. He instantly understood Yi Mo's intention. Although there was no way for ordinary humans to absorb it, it was a completely different case for Yi Shiwen, who owned the Tianyuan mirror. But just when Yi Shiwen was about to ask for this purple ghost fire lotus, which no one was interested in, a burst of frantic laughter came from not far away. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect to discover the purple ghost fire lotus by just tailing a few humans. Chapter 920, Inevitable Battle. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect to discover purple ghost fire lotus by just following a few humans. An ecstatic voice came from behind. The team was immediately alerted. They all turned their heads to look at the sound source. It was a demonic sea beast clan expert with a pair of huge fin wings. He was wrapped in dark blue scales. He appeared in front of the crowd with a somewhat ecstatic smile. He exuded an unusually dangerous aura. Everyone's expressions suddenly changed. When did the demonic sea beast clan expert start tailing us? Why didn't we sense anything? We don't even know we were being followed. Even Xiong Ziqing, a veteran demon hunter, hadn't noticed it. This was rare. Xiong Ziqing, a veteran demon hunter, discovered the Transcendent Realm 8th level monster several times. It prevented the team from meeting up with the Transcendent Realm 8th level demonic sea beasts. But now he did not realize the team had been followed. Xiong Ziqing's face looked ugly. In Chaos Demon Sea, it was tough to survive. Besides having powerful strength, the most important thing was to be cautious. Naturally, he and the bear team did not have such tyrannical strength. To survive, he had always been cautious. But unexpectedly, he was still being followed, which was a shame to him. I'm so lucky. The demonic sea beast clan expert laughed weirdly. I got to have a few more human heads collections. This trip is so fruitful. Ha ha ha. Human heads collection. Xiong Ziqing seemed to have thought of something. You are manslaughterer by Yin. Hearing Xiong Ziqing's words, even Yucici's expression turned ugly as if this name possessed a terrifying deterrent. Haha, I didn't expect you to know my name. Great, die obediently. No one can escape from me. The demonic sea beast clan expert laughed sinisterly. I will have your head as a precious collection. Ha ha ha. The manslaughter's expression was distorted, crazy. It put chills on the witnesses. We're done for. We met a disaster. This is the end. Yucici said in a panic. Horror flashed in her eyes. Is this manslaughter scary? Bai Hanmo asked. Of course he is scary. No human expert had escaped from him. I don't know what his origin is. He suddenly emerged 20 years ago and madly slaughtered the humans in the Chaos Demon Sea. Some Sea Clan experts escaped from him, but no human expert escaped. Yucici said in horror. Although he is just at Transcendent Realm 7th level, he's considered a veteran in the realm. Transcendent Realm 8th level experts were unable to defeat him. He massacred hundreds of human experts at one time and alerted a Transcendent Realm 9th level human expert. After a pursuit lasted for 3,000 miles, he ran away. As soon as these words came out, the faces of the trio immediately became serious. Being able to escape from the Transcendent Realm 9th level expert, this strength and experience were shocking enough. The most important thing was that he seemed to be a demonic sea beast that harbored humans' great hatred. For human clan experts, he had never been merciful. Everyone knew that this was a severe problem. They had no choice but to fight to the death. It was fight or die. The team had no way out because even if they gave up this purple ghost fire lotus, it was impossible to escape from him. The only outcome was to fight to the death. Let me handle it. You take the others to run away. At this time, Xiong Ziqing gritted his teeth and said. A powerful aura surged on his body. It swept away in all directions. Xiong Ziqing was a Transcendent Realm 7th level expert. He had been hiding very well in the past with no one discovering this. Yi Shiwen also looked at Xiong Ziqing in surprise. Xiong Ziqing had always been cautious. This was the ultimate trump card he left for himself. Yi Shiwen thought each team member would reserve their trump card, but he didn't expect that trump card to be such a big surprise. You want to flee? Can you? Manslaughter by Yin laughed and said. Dense demon chi swept across the oceanic trench in an instant. I have already placed a net here. If I don't defuse it, there is no possibility for you all to escape. The team gasped in shock. Bai Yin was ruthless and meticulous. He was a murderous psychopath, leaving no chance for his prey to escape. Fight with him. I don't believe that he can fight with all of us. Bai Hanmo yelled, especially Xiong Ziqing, who was also a Transcendent Realm 7th level expert. It gave him a lot of encouragement. It was only now that he understood a little the world was more dangerous than he imagined. There were not only warriors inferior to him in the world. Many of them were more powerful than him. Facing such an elite, He was not as relaxed as before. His playful attitude had gone entirely. Flee quickly. I'll stop him. Otherwise, none of us can flee. Xiong Ziqing gritted his teeth and roared. He is not an opponent that can be defeated by relying on number advantage. Although he is a lunatic without a doubt, he is a madman with brilliant talent. Lunatic, ha ha ha. I like this name. Bai Yin laughed wildly. But it is you humans who made me like this. A scene emerged in front of his eyes. There were flames and blood washing a demonic sea beast clan's small village. Scenes of broken limbs and bloodbaths were alternating. A vicious beast's roar was heard in the distance, heralding the beginning of sin. Death was followed by. The broken bridge accompanied by clouds of black smoke rose. One could not see the end of darkness. Flames of chaos. The ugly sides of humans brought destruction. Some human experts incarnated as demons invade every inch of space arrogantly. A demonic sea beast clan's child looked at this devastated world. Heard the most desperate roars and sounds of despair in the world. He stared at the dark sky and could not find an exit. Both his hands were trembling, unable to grasp the fading life of his surrounding clansmen. He felt so weak. His eyes became bloodshot. This scene lingered in his mind for a long time. It could no longer be wiped away. In Chaos Demon Sea, such a scene was staged every moment. It was either the human clan experts wiped out, or the sea clan fleet annihilated, or even the demonic sea beast clan village wholly slaughtered. There was no such thing as justice or evil. Everything that happened was meant for survival. The experience of these years also made him see beyond life and death. But why did such a thing happen to me? Now that I am so unfortunate, then other people must be more unfortunate than me. Hatred quickly filled all of his minds. His eyes projected a cruel and oppressive glint. His hands instantly emitted blood-dyed glimmers. On the other hand, Xiong Ziqing's aura was gradually becoming more vigorous. Xiong Ziqing said with unprecedented seriousness, "Leave quickly. Otherwise, I'm afraid you won't be able to leave. Even if it's me, I'm afraid I can't resist for long. Cece, go back and tell everyone that I am not a good captain. Everyone can choose a better captain in the future." "Captain." 2 lines of tears dripped from Cece's pair of eyes. It quickly merged into the seawater, and was washed away by the restless seawater. "You want to stop me? Old man, are you kidding me?" Bai Yin laughed wildly. He launched his figure instantly, forming a blood light in front of him, splitting the seawater on his path in half. In an instant, it turned into a ball of blood-dyed light and rushed in front of Xiong Ziqing, where the massive fist bombarded instantly. Boom! The seawater seemed to be tossed over in an instant. A shockwave exploded in the boundless sea, which caused the oceanic trench to tremble crazily. Boom! Xiong Ziqing crossed his hands and firmly blocked Bai Yin's attack, but his figure was directly blasted away for more than 10 meters. Blood spurted at the corner of his mouth, dyeing the surrounding seawater crimson red. His figure trembled slightly, but he quickly recovered. "Go!" Xiong Ziqing roared with blood in his mouth. "I can't hold him for long." It was worse than holding him off for long. When he received Bai Yin's fanatical punch, his body was severely wounded. The fist impact almost knocked him out. He could hardly imagine that this was the Transcendent Realm 7th level strength. He once fought against a Transcendent Realm 8th level expert, but he didn't feel such a brutal force. "You have sustained 1 punch of mine. Not bad, old man. But this is far from over." Bai Yin was a little surprised. He didn't expect Xiong Ziqing to be able to block his punch, but it was nothing to him. His figure darted out again, summoning a tide of monstrous blood waves. The terrifying fist pressure directly blasted the seawater yet again. Chapter 921. Yi Shiwen making the move by Yin was swift, but his power was terrifying at the same time. Under this punch, the seawater that weighed more than 1,000 pounds was utterly overturned. It was almost like a piece of white paper being flipped over. With the help of the waves, it became even more terrifying. Xiong Ziqing's hand shot a light beam that covered half of the sky. It firmly caught this terrifying fist impact, preventing it from spreading. However, his figure was blown out again. It took more than 10 meters to stabilize his figure. "Old man, Let me see how many punches of mine can you block. Bai Yin's speed rose by another margin. At the same time, his spirit instantly locked Yi Shiwen and others to prevent them from escaping. If there were any fleeing signs, he would immediately chase over to kill them. He was like a cat, toying with his prey. It felt effortless. However, if the mouse were to escape, it would deliver the killing blow. Among the people present, Wuxia, the weakest, had also entered the Transcendent Realm's 6th level, while Yao Qian and Bai Hanmo were both considered the pride of their respective forces. When had they toyed like a mouse? But the opponent's intention was blatant. He was teasing them like prey that was firm in his grasp. But no matter how angry the team was, there was no way. The opponent was too strong. Although Xiong Ziqing was also at Transcendent Realm 7th level, it was apparent he had to go all out to stop Bai Yin, let alone fight against Bai Yin. It was simply impossible for him. Because of this, Bai Yin didn't intend to go all out. He was toying the team before killing them off. Boom! Xiong Ziqing had blasted out again. He no longer knows how many times he was bombarded. Every time he stood up unsteadily, Bai Yin would blast him out again. Bai Yin could kill him, but the madman didn't make the final blow and tortured him until he couldn't hold on anymore. The lunatic was going all out to torture his spirit. He was not satisfied with just crushing his body. The madman wanted to overwhelm his spirit completely. It would bring him a twisted sense of pleasure. Captain. On the side, Wuxia was already breaking down into tears, but she was helpless with the situation. Xiong Ziqing would not let her come forward. Tisk, old man, I didn't expect you to be able to hold on till now. It's amazing. Bai Yin sneered. It's just that I don't have any fun anymore. It will now kill you and send you to the afterlife. The horrifying blood-colored light on him became more intense. His cruel eyes were like statics. It stung Captain Xiong coldly. The blood-colored eyes were chilly. The playful attitude was no longer there, only cold killing intent. He suddenly grabbed out with both hands as if his grip was about to shatter the universe. Murderous intent leaked out indefinitely. The vast and boundless killing intent made the onlooker breathless. Everyone was horrified. Is this the strength that an ordinary Transcendent Realm 7th level expert can possess? Even Xiong Ziqing's initial momentum was incomparable to Bai Yin. There was a considerable gap. Is he just a Transcendent Realm 7th level warrior? Even Wuxia suspected that Bai Yin was not a Transcendent Realm 7th level warrior, but a top Transcendent Realm 8th level expert. His claws turned into a monstrous cage with an unmatched momentum. It instantly suppressed Xiong Ziqing. He had lost all patience, and was about to behead Xiong Ziqing on the spot. An unprecedented terrifying force crushed Xiong Ziqing's body. The bones on his body even began to make constant crackling sounds, as if they would be crushed into pieces in the next moment. A monstrous fiery saber aura fell from the sky and slashed on the massive hand at this critical moment. Dang! There was a loud crash, which directly set off terrifying air turbulence, rushing out the sea for several miles. The terrible collision of two forces directly set off an incomparable airwave, especially the flame airwave. It evaporated countless seawater in an instant. However, since they were on the seabed, a great volume of seawater evaporated here. Soon, the surrounding seawater quickly replenished the empty spot in this seabed. The seawater was endless after all. Although the saber slash could not harm this demon claw, in the end, it bought some time for Xiong Ziqing. Xiong Ziqing took advantage of this time to finally escape the attack range of this demon claw. A figure appeared directly in front of Xiong Ziqing. Brat, you dare to go against me. I originally planned to kill you later. It looks like you can't wait to die. Bai Yin just sneered and looked at Yi Shiwen as if looking at a dead person. His corner revealed his indifference and cruelty. For him, the game time was over. The rest of the time was for slaughter. Didn't I ask you to flee? Xiong Ziqing only noticed at this time that Yi Shiwen and the others were still there. He was forced to deal with Bai Yin with all his strength just now. He was unable to pay attention to whether Yi Shiwen and others had left. Seeing Yi Shiwen coming back at this time, he put him at fault. This was an opportunity he intended to exchange with his own life. These people didn't cherish it and came back. Can we leave? Yi Shiwen had a bitter smile at the corner of his mouth. Did he not want to leave? Nope, but there was no other way. If they were to escape, Xiong Ziqing's desperate move could only stop Bai Yin for a small amount of time. Bai Yin had laid layers of arrays over the oceanic trench. The time was not enough for them to destroy the array and escape. They had no other way. If they didn't want to die, then there was only one way: fight to the death. If Bai Yin did not die, it would be them. As the situation developed to this stage, it was an inevitable battle, a fight to the death. If he doesn't die, then we die, said Yi Shiwen. This was also the fundamental reason why he decided to make a move directly. Ha ha ha, this kid is right. If I don't die, none of you get to leave. If you're so capable, kill me. I look forward to it. Bai Yin's face had a weird smile. He seemed a bit lunatic. No one knew what was in his mind. His eyes were bloodshot. His killing intent was detectable even from afar. Yi Shiwen revealed his power bit by bit. He planned to go all out. Hiding his true strength was equivalent to knocking on the death's door. His skin first turned into a bronze color. Tyrant body was fully activated. A burst of golden divinity exuded onto Yi Ziwen's skin. The golden brilliance signified an oppressive and powerful force boiling on his body. From a distance, it looked like an overlord cast in gold. Everyone, especially Yu Cixi, looked at Yi Shiwen in shock. This was Yi Ziwen's real strength. What he said was not wrong. He did not go all out against He Yulong. Otherwise, with the horrifying power that was now exposed, He Yulong could be killed easily. Even among them, no one could be Yi Ziwen's opponent except for Xiong Ziqing. Xiong Ziqing was also quite shocked to see Yi Shiwen in gold casting. He knew that Yi Shiwen must have hidden his real strength, but he didn't know Yi Shiwen hid so much. When Yi Shiwen fought against He Yulong, it was less than a quarter of the strength displayed at this moment. The mini-universe in Yi Ziwen's body also began to spin frantically. This was the result of his observing person scripture running at full capacity. I will kill you first. Bai Yin gave a weird laugh. His figure broke through the waves and hit Yi Shiwen in front of him. Be careful. Xiong Ziqing yelled immediately. But at this time, Bai Yin's offense had already approached Yi Shiwen. His fists were densely covered with demon qi. The qi spun crazily, driving the countless seawater around him to assume a vortex. A water drill bit was formed, and it came to Yi Ziwen's face. He had no plan to toy with Yi Shiwen at all. He decided to kill him in one fell swoop. At this time, just when everyone thought Yi Shiwen could not react, he finally moved. His fist slammed directly on Bai Yin's fist. Boom! A loud explosion sounded from the impact of the two fists that carried terrifying powers. It turned into a ball of energy, and ripples of energy storms swept out in all directions. The two colliding fists were deadlocked in midair for a long time. Finally, Yi Ziwen's fist was unable to continue. There was a trace of flaw. This flaw was like domino. Immediately, Yi Ziwen's punch collapsed utterly. Bai Yin's punch bombarded Yi Shiwen in the end. Boom! With a violent collision, Yi Shiwen only felt that a monstrous force enveloped him. This force covered his whole body. Crackling sounds could be heard. He felt his bones were about to be crushed. Yi Shiwen couldn't get rid of all the power that impacted him. He was directly blasted back a few steps with a trace of blood spilling from the corner of his mouth. Chapter 922. The pressing danger in the vast chaos demon sea. A group of warriors flew quickly above the sea. If Yi Shiwen were there, he would probably recognize these warriors. They were the Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile Clan experts. The leading warrior was none other than Yi Hong. The group was entering the Chaos Demon Sea. The young man behind him was also Yi Ziwen's acquaintance, He Yulong, which he knocked out previously. He Yulong, who was severely injured, had completely recovered. His strength seemed to have escalated to the next level. Behind these two was a tall figure wearing a black cloak with a looming demon aura wrapped around him. 5 figures who dressed similarly were following the cloaked figure. Like the one leading them, they were all faintly entwined with a trace of demon aura. Are you sure that this route is correct? Yi Hong asked He Yulong next to him. He appeared a little impatient. After all, it had been a lengthy pursuit, and yet they still couldn't catch up with Yi Shiwen. The current circumstances had worn off their patience. Yes, We're right in the right direction. We won't be wrong. With a slight panic expression, He Yulong said. In our team, we usually leave special musk as a mark. Only our team has the unique way of detecting it. The path will not be wrong. It will be fine if that is the case. Otherwise, I will kill you and turn you into our ration. At this time, the leading figure in the black cloak said. His voice was a little hoarse, seemingly ineloquent. He wasn't someone who often spoke much. Yes, yes. He Yulong nodded quickly. As long as you complete your task well, the Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan will not mistreat you. Forget about the bear team. It will not be a problem for you to build another team at all. At this time, Yihong promised as he patted his chest. It was just that there was a faint contempt in his gaze toward He Yulong. He thought he hid it well, but He Yulong in front of him had captured it. Everything fell into He Yulong's eyes crystal clear. A hint of resentment flashed through He Yulong's eyes. Yihong thought the mere human didn't notice his contempt, but in fact, all of this had entered the human's eyes. He Yulong knew it very well that Yihong and the Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan experts were using him. Although he was somewhat coerced, his hatred toward Yi Shiwen made him lead the group. Both parties had their plans, conspiring against each other. At this moment, the cooperation was still peaceful. I have to trouble you this time, Yihong said to the black-cloaked figure behind him at this time. It's nothing. It's our duty to resolve the past incidents too. Yi Shiwen dares to challenge our prince. We have the reasons to put him down. Only his insignificant death can clear our name. No matter what, it is better to find him and hunt him down as fast as we can. I have to return to the Crown Prince as soon as possible, replied the black-cloaked figure. Yihong said. The prince takes Yi Shiwen as a problem in his heart. We need to eliminate him before he grows stronger. The black-cloaked figure said disdainfully. Among the younger generations, no one can cause trouble to the prince. Your Highness is peerless. The prince is destined to conquer the Flourish Cloud Sea region. Yes, indeed. You're absolutely right. Everyone agreed, but God knows what they thought in their hearts. There was a glimmer of surprise in Bai Yin's eyes. Xiong Jiqing was also a Transcendent Realm 7th level expert anyway. It was not surprising that Captain Xiong could block his offense. In his view, Yi Shiwen was nothing but a Transcendent Realm 3rd level expert. It was nothing more than an ant whom he didn't even bat an eye. Logically speaking, Yi Shiwen was outmatched totally. But Yi Shiwen blocked his all-out punch. Although Yi Shiwen kept backing away, this did not conceal the fact that the human did block his punch. A bitter smile flashed on Yi Ziwen's face. Sure enough, there was still a considerable gap between him and Bai Yin. It could even be said that if it weren't for the tyrant body and the magic of the Phoenix regeneration technique, he could not sustain even an attack from the opponent. After all, the opponent was of a completely different caliber. Since it had come to this, Yi Shiwen had no choice but to put up a desperate fight. With his life at stake, he became more resolute. Retreat and leave the rest to me. In the time between Yi Ziwen's sentence, his weakened aura due to the heavy blow had been restored to the peak swiftly. Phoenix regeneration technique had become way more potent after assimilating the Phoenix's flame fruit. Xiong Jiqing was relieved to see Yi Shiwen seem to be okay. If Yi Shiwen was also punched to death, then only death awaited the remaining party members. By now, he finally realized that Yi Shiwen was the one who hid himself the deepest among Yao Qian's trio. It was more than hiding the cultivation realm. Xiong Jiqing couldn't hold it at this time. Although he didn't die, blocking Bai Yin's offenses made his body on the verge of collapse. If he were not treated, he would die even without Bai Yin's attack. Be careful. He is stronger than the average Transcendent Realm 7th level expert, reminded Captain Xiong. Although the opponent was only at Transcendent Realm 7th level, he viewed his opponent as more powerful than Transcendent Realm 8th level. I understand. Yi Shiwen nodded. Although the exchange of blows only took place once, it also made him understand the horror laid within Bai Yin, fearing that the opponent was far beyond his imagination. Captain. At this time, Xiong Jiqing retreated. Yu Cixi already broke into tears. What are you crying about? I'm not dead yet, said Xiong Jiqing a little irritably. He then began to recover. At this time, Yi Shiwen had to stand alone in front of the opponent. Captain Xiong had to recover as soon as possible and return to peak. Only then could he help Yi Shiwen. At this time, both Yao Qian and Bai Hanmo looked at Yi Shiwen anxiously, wondering how he would face this terrifying expert. Yi Shiwen was blown away with a punch just now. What happened was crystal clear in their eyes. TSK, this is interesting. Is this a brotherhood among comrades? It's a pity. You lot are heading to hell soon. Bai Yin showed a cruel smile on his face, even worse than the previous smile. When you go to hell and meet the Hell Emperor, don't forget to tell him that I killed you. Your heads will become my most exquisite artwork. Bai Yin's 5 fingers squeezed into a fist. Dense demon auras at the surroundings began to gather in his direction. In Chaos Demon Sea, the demon aura was more abundant than that in other places. As a half-demon and a demonic sea beast, it was the best battlefield for him, surrounded by demon auras. It was precisely because of Chaos Demon Sea's unique circumstances that the demonic sea beast clans had a footing whilst competing with the major forces in the flourished Cloud Sea region. God-defying demon statue punch. Behind him, a statue composed of countless demon auras began to appear. The statue resembled a hideous demon god with a green face and blue fangs. The statue had 6 pairs of arms, appearing in an eldritch demeanor. Bai Yin didn't know the origin of this fist technique, because it was his natural awakening punching technique. It should be the terrifying martial arts contained in the half-demon blood. Generally, whether it was half-demon or half-demon beast or whatever, there was a chance to awaken the supernatural bloodline powers of different races. Although there were some differences, it was easier to awaken the blood of the stronger side. Just like Bai Yin, after awakening the demon part of his blood, the sea race blood in his body began to be madly suppressed. He gradually began to become like a demon clan instead of being a sea clan. But he accepted this feeling because he felt powerful and in control. He liked this feeling the most, having power, and being able to do whatever he wanted. This feeling made him feel like he was omnipotent like the gods. This was especially true when hunting those human experts who have entered Chaos Demon Sea. Seeing them either crawling under his feet, or swearing directly at him gave off a unique pleasure. These should be the side effects of the power awakening in his body. Even if it had a strong ramification, it was worth it for him. Maybe I should have died long ago. Occasionally this kind of thought flashed past. Even if he was killed by a human expert whom he hunted on the spot, there was no regret in his heart. He felt he had killed enough. Hence, he was even more unscrupulous because there was no fear. That was why he became more brutal. When that colossal statue appeared, Bai Yin suddenly felt that his power had become more robust, but the blood essence was being consumed at a faster rate. Boom. He slammed a punch wrapped in a thick demon aura. The demon aura seemed to pollute the entire ocean. A visible black demon aura directly blocked the remaining light entering the arena. It appeared as though the sun was gone. Yi Zaiwen's expression became unusually dignified. Countless divinity on his body began to emerge crazily. In every drop of divinity, there was a deity constantly reciting ancient scriptures to fend off those demon auras. Chapter 923. Madly trading hits. Yi Shiwen did not focus his mind on incarnating the divinity. Instead, it passively provided protection. It appeared to be stimulated by these demon auras. Demon aura itself was one of the eeriest energies in the world. On the other hand, divinity itself was the utmost strength and utmost just energy. These two energies were inherently opposed. Once they collided together, it caused a violent reaction. Divinity turned into a golden ocean wave, directly resisting the demon aura onslaught. Boom! God-defying demon statue punch slammed into the golden divinity. The two inherently opposing forces smashed together. There was a fierce collision every second with a tremendous amount of energy consumed. Although Yi Shiwen did his best to resist, the divinity was still unable to resist the God-defying demon statue punch's destructive power. God-defying demon statue punch managed to open up a hole for its destructive power to penetrate. But it also gave Yi Shiwen time to recompose himself. He concentrated all his energy on one point. The mini-universe in his body instantly began to spin frantically. A mind construct swept out immediately. Although it was not as good as Yi Hong's territory, the mind construct was the territory's initial appearance. Around Yi Zaiwen's side, it seemed to have become a void in the universe, frantically extending towards the far distance. His fists turned into two massive stars and punched off the huge demon aura. Boom! Countless seawater on the scene evaporated in an instant. A vacuum zone was formed in an instant. Frenzied energy that swept out in ripples pushed away the oncoming seawater. None of it could seep into the arena. Dang! Dang! Yi Shiwen retreated 3 steps in a row. Each step stomped the air around the seabed. The scene when the air collapsed in a large area was quite terrifying. If the battle took place in the true martial domain, the space would be punched through. At this moment, Bai Yin had already rushed over. He did not give him any chance for Yi Shiwen to catch a breather. This kid is dangerous. It gave him the intention to kill Yi Shiwen as fast as possible, because he felt something was amiss. Chua! Bai Yin's speed was so swift that his punch appeared in front of Yi Shiwen instantly. Although it was not as powerful and terrifying as God-defying demon statue punch just now, the speed was way faster. He didn't need to get prepared in activating the technique. He purely relied on the terrifying power of his physical body. Both the sea race and the demon's body were far above the human race. These two races were advantageous in a physical brawl. Bai Yin, with the combined advantages of the two clans, had no reason to undermine it. Boom! Yi Shiwen quickly raised his hand to block the punch. His right hand was only able to halt Bai Yin's fist momentum. The horrible fist was capable of shattering a mountain range, even if it was an ordinary punch with no demon chi. However, Bai Yin's speed was swift. Another punch came in almost instantly. Fortunately, Yi Shiwen was confident in terms of the physical body. He could even compete with the dragon race at the same level. It was conceivable how terrifying Yi Zaiwen's physical body was. Even though Yi Zaiwen's cultivation realm was not as high as Bai Yin, he did not fall short even in the slightest when it came to the physical body. Boom! 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 The two of them were like showing off their martial arts. Each move of theirs was fast, accurate, and ruthless. They pinpointed each other's weakness directly, leaving almost no opening for the opponent. The scene was shocking. Yi Shiwen was competing with Bai Yin in terms of the physical body. What was terrifying was that Yi Shiwen showed no losing signs. Yao Qian and Bai Hanmo, who watched from a distance, found it unbelievable when they witnessed this scene. Firstly, Yi Zaiwen's realm was far worse than Bai Yin. Secondly, whether the sea clans or the demon clans, they had much sturdier bodies than the human clans. Apart from the minority bloodlines among the human race, the others were not proficient in the physical body. Everyone's eyes were solemn. They could not join the battlefield due to the vast disparity in combat strength. However, they still understood that danger lay within despite it appearing effortless. With a little carelessness or even a direct hit unblocked, the attack would penetrate Yi Zaiwen's body. The two were fast and cruel, attacking each other's weakness with no pauses. It was like two terrifying cyborgs fighting. It's over. I'm afraid elder brother Yi will suffer this time, Bai Hanmo said with a rare seriousness. His combat experience was not much because his growing environment was too protected. However, it did not mean that he didn't have a discerning pair of eyes. Yi Shiwen did not fall behind in terms of the body, but the battle between two people was more than just the physical strength difference. As a matter of fact, Bai Yin's overall strength was far above Yi Shiwen. Ha ha ha, this is a refreshing battle. Bai Yin laughed loudly and said, "It's been a long time since I have so much fun. Although you're human, you are a different one. I don't want your head anymore. I want your whole body. You can last long until now with your Transcendent Realm 3rd level. It is not easy already." As he spoke, glaring killing intent exuded. For this particular human, he felt Yi Shiwen was equipped with high status and high strength. Once the opponent progresses further in the future, it would be a threat to the other races. As he encountered such a talent, there was only one choice, a relentless hunt. He would not allow his opponent to escape. After playing enough, Bai Yin no longer held himself back. The straight punches had boundless power. It blasted straight toward Yi Shiwen. The fist pressure directly blasted through the golden divinity clad on Yi Shiwen, striking onto his vulnerable flesh. Boom! Yi Shiwen suffered the horrifying blow. As he appeared almost blasted out, flames emerged on his palm. It morphed into a fiery long saber immediately, slashing right at the opponent. In an instant, Yi Ziwen's fiery long saber also slashed on Bai Yin's body, drawing a large wound directly on the opponent's chest, and the blood was sprayed all over. Bai Yin didn't anticipate Yi Shiwen to have this trick. The human attacked him at the most unexpected and unguarded moment. The blow incurred a grave wound. At this time, Yi Shiwen was also blasted out. A mouthful of blood was directly spat out. The injury was much more severe than Bai Yin. His chest was dented. It was almost as if he was about to die immediately. Bai Yin was still stunned on the spot. He was injured. He was actually injured. This was an inexcusable thing for him. It was not that he has never been injured. He had the experience of severely injured, and even close to dying. However, he never thought a Transcendent Realm 3rd level warrior would hurt him one day. Although this attack depended on his carelessness, it still happened after all. It was a huge shame. Damn it, die. Bai Yin thought of the war scene surrounded by fire. Death seemed to be the only main tune in this play. His body trembled involuntarily with anger, and fear struck him. His figure darted toward Yi Shiwen immediately. He wanted to deliver a fatal blow onto Yi Shiwen. Yi Shiwen had already sustained a severe injury. The human was by the death's door. He would send Yi Shiwen to hell to relinquish his hatred. But when he darted over, he found that the situation was completely different from what he had imagined. Yi Ziwen's injury was not as severe as he had imagined. Yi Shiwen could even be said to be in good condition. In the delay, Yi Shiwen had used Phoenix regeneration technique to recover from his injuries. Facing Bai Yin, who was rushing over again, Yi Shiwen moved. He was even more proactive than Bai Yin, as if he was not afraid of death. He ran forward, ultimately giving up all defenses and putting all his energy on the attack. Another slash came down directly. Bai Yin, who was already mad, didn't notice the peculiarity with the event. Seeing Yi Shiwen giving up the defense, he only thought the human was courting death. He didn't feel that there was a miss, so he delivered the blow with all his strength. Puff! The two sides directly flew out like two meteors. Both sides suffered grave injuries with blood gushing, and their bodies broke apart. This was a tragic duel. They were like nemesis with no holding back. Their only goal was to hurt the opponent as much as possible, ultimately killing the opponent. Both sides were in poor condition. Though Yi Shiwen suffered the short end, he was on the verge of death again. However, after Bai Yin sustained another heavy blow again, his injuries were worse than the previous state. His combat strength would inevitably suffer some decline. Yao Qian was the first to notice it. Her eyes suddenly lit up. She immediately understood what Yi Shiwen was doing. It turned out that Yi Shiwen wanted to trade his injury onto his opponent. He tried to drag Bai Yin to death gradually in the battle. It was a madman's plan. If he was not careful, he might be killed on the spot. Bai Yin was not an ordinary Transcendent Realm 7th level expert. Yi Shiwen needed the physical Bodhis might and the magic of recovery martial art technique to achieve such a fantastic outcome. Chapter 924. Behead Bai Yin. If Yi Ziwen's physical body were not strong enough, he would probably be killed on the spot. Everything would be over, even with any tactic. Without the mighty Phoenix regeneration technique's healing power, it was impossible to achieve it. After one exchange of blows, Yi Shiwen would lose all his combat strength. He could not continue the plan any further. Only Yi Shiwen, who had both aspects, could do it. Soon, Xiong Ziqing also realized Yi Ziwen's plan. Yi Shiwen did not conceal it because it was too obvious. Since the initiative to operate this tactic was also in Yi Ziwen's hands, unless Bai Yin could beat Yi Shiwen to death with one punch, there would be no difference. At this time, Captain Xiong understood why Yi Shiwen dared to resist Bai Yin's onslaught in his shoe. It turned out that there was such a reason. In fact, Yi Ziwen's combat strength was probably worse than Xiong Ziqing's. If there was no Phoenix regeneration technique, he could not last until the second exchange of blows. The magical recovery technique brought him the courage to exchange injuries with Bai Yin. On the other hand, Xiong Ziqing lacked the conditions to do so. But at this time, Bai Yin with bloodshot eyes didn't care about it at all. He attacked Yi Shiwen directly with no hesitation. Elder brother Yi, you did a good job. Bai Hanmo praised while watching. On the side, Yao Qian frowned slightly. She did not cheer just because Yi Shiwen severely inflicted Bai Yin twice. She could see that although Yi Ziwen's Phoenix regeneration technique was magical, it took time to recover even with its magical property. Although the time might be short, it did take time to recover to the peak. Would Bai Yin give Yi Shiwen the time? Certainly not. So, Yi Shiwen would only get weaker with no time to recover to his peak as the battle continued. Fortunately, Bai Yin's combat strength was also declining after suffering heavy damage. Endurance would decide who would be the emerging victor. It depended on who was the first to cripple the opponent. This was a great battle because both sides did not hold back. Every exchange of hits would guarantee bloodshed. Sometimes the attack was simple and rough, but it was also direct and fierce. Both of them were like streamers, flashing in the sea. They fought till atop the oceanic trench. Both sides didn't reserve their strength. They sharply opposed each other, with neither prepared to give an inch. Yi Ziwen's lost techniques were in full display, including wood-burning saber technique, shattered star fist, and burial sword technique. The techniques took turns to be activated with only one purpose. He must avoid his opponent figuring out all his combat routine. However, Bai Yin only utilized God-defying demon statue punch to attack. He rushed toward Yi Shiwen frantically. Facing Yi Shiwen madly trading injuries, he didn't mind because it would be useless to be reserved. It would give an opening for Yi Shiwen to seize him continuously. As he encountered an opponent like Yi Shiwen, there was no other way but to confront the opponent directly. God knows how long had passed. The battle between the two finally reached the collapsing balance. Boom! The array's fragmentation quickly caused the entire sea to vibrate wildly in an instant, setting off a monstrous wave. It swept out in an instant. The movements of the two did not stop due to the rupture of these arrays. Yi Shiwen directly turned into a streamer and flew out the oceanic trench. Seeing Yi Ziwen's movements, Bai Yin, who was in a frenzy, didn't think much. He flew out and chased Yi Shiwen. Thinking of fleeing? In your dream. Run, Xiong Ziqing said in a low voice at this time. At this time, everyone understood what Yi Shiwen wanted. He led Bai Yin away and gave everyone a chance to escape. To achieve this goal, he even rushed directly to fight near the array. His objective was to smash the array in the beginning. As he expected, the whole array could not stand the shockwave coming from their battle, and was shattered. The array itself was not decisive. The real challenge was Bai Yin. As long as they were given time, the destruction of the array was only a matter of time. The question was how to stop Bai Yin. Yi Shiwen did what Xiong Ziqing failed to do. Bai Yin might not notice it. At this time he was thoroughly annoyed at Yi Shiwen. He did not care less but vowed to kill Yi Shiwen. At this time, killing Yi Shiwen was the most critical thing. Everything else was illusory to him. Everyone took the seriously injured Xiong Ziqing and flew toward the sea. Boom! 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 On the boundless chaos demon sea, a chaotic explosion sounded far away. Amidst the chaos, four figures were swaying in the sky. They looked quite embarrassed. It was Yao Qian and the other four. On the other side, not far away, Yi Shiwen was fighting with Bai Yin above the sky. The flames of war spread directly from the sky to the surface of the sea. There were terrifying turbulences continually coming from the entire sea, all of which were set off by the qi collision brought by the fighting between them. On the opposite of Yi Shiwen, it was Bai Yin. The scales all over his body covered him up. The scales appeared to be the blue scales belonging to the sea race. However, its pitch-black hue resembled the demon race. It reflected a faint glimmer. A pair of scale wings behind Bai Yin accentuated his hideous appearance. But at this time, Bai Yin looked unusually sorry. The emerald green blood flowed almost all over his body. His pair of wings seemed to have been forcibly torn off in half. The previous luster across the scales was long gone. On the opposite side of Bai Yin, Yi Shiwen didn't get any better, and was even more sorry. A terrifying wound stretched from his shoulder to his abdomen. His bones were visible. Except for this wound, there were countless other wounds. Yi Shiwen kept breathing heavily, but his eyes were still firm. This was the most terrifying and bizarre battle after he entered Chaos Demon Sea. Although he had encountered Transcendent Realm 9th level demonic sea beasts previously, there had never been such a head-to-head confrontation. Just to recover from the injury, Yi Zaiwen's lifespan had been consumed for more than 100 years. He was consuming his life almost every moment, which was equivalent to overdrawing his life. Between the two parties, it was as if they were fighting for their lives without any pause at all. At this time, both sides were surpassing most beings. Brat, I didn't expect that one day I would be forced to do this. Bai Yin kept coughing. Blood was continually overflowing, condensing a strange demonic pattern. But this is the end. I will send you to hell today. Within his body, power began to boil. Circles of terrifying fluctuations seeped out from his body and swept away, making people look terrified. Yi Shiwen, be careful. Yi Mo's reminder came into Yi Zaiwen's mind. He felt the danger too. Yi Shiwen also ran Phoenix regeneration technique crazily at this time, recovering his injuries. However, Phoenix regeneration technique's recovery speed was getting slower and slower. Through the constant fighting, Bai Yin's demon aura had penetrated his body. Clearing it out from the body would take time. This was why as the battle progressed, both sides struggled. Yi Zaiwen's recovery grew slower the longer the time passed. Yi Shiwen was using his life for the battle. He could feel that what Bai Yin was activating must be a terrifying move. Even in the peak state, he might not be able to sustain it, let alone in his current state of being half disabled. Sure, but how can I let you activate this move? Yi Shiwen roared. A unique wave came from his body. Countless demon aura and spiritual energy on the sea were absorbed in an instant. Even if it were the demonic sea beast clans that could absorb both demon aura and spiritual energy, they didn't dare to absorb them all like Yi Shiwen. With Tianyuan Mirror, Yi Shiwen could ignore the conflict between the spiritual energy and demon aura. Countless spiritual energy and demon aura rushed directly into his body. They directly merged with the qi in his body. A terrifying wave in his body began to flash violently. Yi Shiwen could feel that the qi in his body was being consumed at an alarming speed. Yao Qian and Bai Hanmo on the side looked at both sides with fluctuating energies, horrified. It was as though they had seen something beyond the world could muster. The fluctuations that radiated from the two of them now wrung tremendous danger. If they were put in the same spot, they would have no chance of winning at all. Boom. In the end, Yi Shiwen completed the demon qi bomb first. A terrifying qi bomb pounced at Bai Yin at a frightening speed. At this time, Bai Yin's move was just about to be completed. It smashed into the demon qi bomb, which seemed to cause a series of changes. He sustained Yi Zaiwen's attack forcefully, but his body was about to crumble. Finally, Bai Yin lost control of his ultimate move. Terrifying power began to run rampant in his body. It was initially used to deal with Yi Shiwen. However, he had failed to deliver it, hence leaving it scattered in his body. Boom. His body finally failed. It self-destructed. The blood-dyed power swept out in all directions. A huge mushroom cloud rose directly and slowly on the sea surface, evaporating countless seawater instantly. The seawater within a radius of 10 miles disappeared. Chapter 925. Fourth level within grasp. Seeing Bai Yin self-destruct on the spot, everyone was finally relieved. Bai Yin put too much pressure on them, like a gloomy cloud. He could kill the team at any time. Most importantly, Bai Yin was much stronger than them. He was strong enough to crush the entire team overwhelmingly. He even surpassed the average Transcendent Realm 7th level expert. Otherwise, it would not evolve into such a situation. Although no one knew how he cultivated to such a level, it was terrifying. Fortunately, Yi Shiwen handled the catastrophe. He finally beheaded Bai Yin after exhausting all his efforts. It was an uphill battle. Yi Shiwen almost died before Bai Yin. If it hadn't been Yi Shiwen sending out the demon qi bomb first, which ultimately disrupted Bai Yin's move, Bai Yin would not have self-destructed and died on the spot. Yi Shiwen achieved this feat. A Transcendent Realm 3rd level warrior did something that Xiong Ziqing, a Transcendent Realm 7th level expert, could not do. Did Yi Shiwen really have done it? The tensed crowd had some doubts in their hearts, but it was well concealed under the nervousness. Now that Bai Yin was dead, they would naturally have time now and have the opportunity to think about the event. Bai Yin's strength as the Transcendent Realm 7th level expert was ridiculous. His cultivation path remained a mystery. However, it was clear as day he could be tyrannical and outrageous one day. If Bai Yin got his hands on Purple Ghost Fire Lotus, his cultivation would skyrocket to an unprecedented realm. At that time, no one could face him. When the most critical moment between life and death was over, everyone could breathe a sigh of relief. They said that warriors had seen beyond life and death. Each would have a cheated death experience. Even Bai Hanmo had experienced many battles. The team thought they had already seen beyond life and death. However, when they were by the death's door, the despair made them cherish their life even more. Those who had not experienced the verge of death wouldn't understand how great it was to be alive. The thin figure that was still dripping with blood created the miracle. Yi Shiwen appeared towering with blood dripping drop by drop into the seawater. Yi Shiwen himself finally breathed a sigh of relief. All the power on his body seemed to be poured out at once, wholly released. Fatigue assaulted his body. After his figure swaying slightly, he fell directly from the sky. Yi Ziwen's movements naturally evoked exclamations from the surrounding people. He finally stabilized his figure and stopped. All the power on his body was emptied. His injuries were at an alarming level. If it weren't for the Phoenix regeneration technique hanging his last breath, he couldn't hold on and probably die on the spot. This was not the most dangerous battle he had ever encountered. However, he hadn't fought like this for a long time, ever since coming to the ancient Baron's continent. His encounter with the North Mountain Clan chief didn't feel like a battle for him. It should be said to be a one-sided pursuit. He kept fleeing under the North Mountain Clan chief's pursuit. He had only one option left, which was to escape, not to fight. Except for that escape, the most thrilling battle was this one in which he was almost killed. In this battle, he once again felt his powerlessness. If he had now entered the Transcendent Realm 4th level, then this battle would be over without many hardships. The battle took the form of a gamble. After using all the trump cards, he killed Bai Yin in the end. He could hardly imagine how he would end up if he hesitated a little just now. Bai Yin's ultimate move was terrifying. Yi Shiwen could feel it from the energy fluctuations. It would be a decisive move. The only advantage of the Demon Chi Bomb was its short preparation time. This was also the fundamental reason why the Demon Chi Bomb had become Yi Ziwen's trump card. The Demon Chi Bomb, which consumed a lot of power, wasn't refined in martial Dao. It depended on its overwhelming property. This kind of move was destined not to be utilized usually. At Bai Yin's peak, it would not be sufficient. Although Demon Chi Bomb could harm the Transcendent Realm 7th level expert when he was caught off guard, the opponent was not the ordinary Transcendent Realm 7th level. Even Xiong Ziqing, a Transcendent Realm 7th level warrior, could not withstand his attacks and suffered terribly. It was a fluke to win this time. Tianyuan Mirror's restraint on the demon race weakened, because he was only a half-demon. Although it was enough to deal with the generic demonic Sea Beast clan's experts, it was ineffective when dealing with Bai Yin. However, if it were not for Tianyuan Mirror's restraint, Yi Shiwen would have died a long time ago. It would be impossible to survive. There were too many flukes in this battle. If the fight were to repeat, he would not be able to continue. He would never want to experience the matter of surrendering his life to the opponent. He desired to grasp everything in his hands. But no matter what, I still survived, isn't it? He only felt relaxed for a while. The Tianyuan mirror in his body flew out automatically. Under Yimo's command, the mirror shone blood-dyed rays, absorbing all the vigor and blood essence of Bai Yin lingering in the sky. The Tianyuan mirror burst into countless bloody rays. It seemed to be stimulated by this flesh and blood. Yi Shiwen Bai Yin is quite unusual. Yimo's voice suddenly sounded at this time. In his flesh and blood, I discovered the demon god's bloodline. I am afraid that his ancestor is a demon god and a compelling one. Otherwise, he would not be so powerful. Yi Shiwen nodded. No wonder this Bai Yin is so terrifying. Even an expert like Xiong Zhiqing is outmatched in a few exchanges of blows. These creatures with inborn talents were powerful. Yi Shiwen had already learned his lesson. Due to their excellent bloodline, they would be born with stronger combat strength. Bai Yin just emerged recently. His bloodline power should be hidden. Something might have stimulated his bloodline power, making him so powerful all of a sudden. If Yi Shiwen knew about this beforehand, he would be more hesitant. At this moment, he was overwhelmed with joy. No matter how strong the bloodline was, Bai Yin would not come back to life all of a sudden. He was dead after all. His blood essence would become the nourishment for his cultivation progress. In such a short period, Yi Shiwen had recovered with the Phoenix regeneration technique. He finally regained his calm again. He defeated Bai Yin through some luck. It did not mean that he had the strength to contend with a Transcendent Realm 7th level expert truly. Even if he could, he would rather avoid that. To defeat Bai Yin, he consumed hundreds of years of lifespan. Even if he had remarkable longevity, he could not withstand such consumption. After regaining some qi, Yi Shiwen directly fell and came to everyone's side. I need to go for a close cultivation. Everyone repeatedly nodded, saying that they would guard him until he ended the process. In this Chaos Demon Sea, one would undoubtedly feel safer with Yi Ziwen's combat power. Moreover, after Yi Ziwen's close cultivation ended, the overall strength of the team would rise. The situation would be beneficial for everyone. Yi Shiwen fell directly into the sea, and came to the previous oceanic trench. Plucking out the purple ghost fire lotus, layers of array barriers were laid down in this oceanic trench. After being covered by Tianyuan mirror, Yi Shiwen indulged in close cultivation. He would use Bai Yin's blood essence and purple ghost fire lotus to ascend directly to the Transcendent Realm 4th level. At that time, he would have the power capable of contending with the Transcendent Realm 7th level. Even if he re-encountered Bai Yin, he would not be in a sorry state. Yi Shiwen sat in a lotus position on the sea bed. She propped up a vacuum of about a kilometer around him. He sat in it as if he was the only true god in the universe. Tianyuan mirror broke down the purple ghost fire lotus gradually. It became the purest energy. Yi Mo completely absorbed the frightening demon power in the average person's eyes. When Yi Shiwen was in close cultivation, Yi Mo attained a breakthrough too. He condensed his spiritual body bit by bit. One day in the future, he might even be able to break away from Tianyuan mirror's restrictions and become a great demon. Yi Shiwen had already promised him that he would get to evolve freely if he could materialize in the future. At the same time, Yi Mo was multitasking. He kept commanding the Tianyuan mirror to make no mistakes. 2 purified torrents were injected into Yi Ziwen's body. One was purple ghost fire lotus, and the other was the Bai Yin's vital energy and blood essence. Yi Ziwen's body emitted rays of brilliance. Tyrant body scripture and observing person scripture absorbed these 2 energies too. At the same time, Yi Ziwen's realm was also advancing towards the Transcendent Realm 3rd level peak at an astonishing speed. All of this was under Yi Ziwen's control, steadily advancing without the slightest deviation. Transcendent Realm 4th level was within his grasp. Chapter 926. Tracked everything seemed unchanged. Chaos was the eternal melody in Chaos Demon Sea. The endless darkness made people despair with no trace of hope. A month was fleeting away. Yi Shiwen had been in his close cultivation at the ocean trench for a full month. If not for the team could sense Yi Ziwen's looming aura from time to time, everyone almost thought something wrong happened to Yi Shiwen. After all, Yi Shiwen entered close cultivation after being seriously injured. Most people would adjust their state to the best before entering close cultivation. Yi Ziwen's hurried entry could lead to ramifications. These were all issues they had to consider. But close cultivation for a month was not enough to surprise them. Transcendent Realms warrior's lifespan was too long. It was normal to have close cultivation for hundreds of years. Of course, they would not believe that Yi Shiwen would be in close cultivation for hundreds of years at this place. It was just a month. Yao Qian had also cultivated the Transcendent Realm 6th level peak. Through this month, she had sorted out all the insights she gained during this period. Her cultivation had also advanced by leaps and bounds. After close cultivation, she directly entered the state of a breakthrough. It was highly possible to enter the Transcendent Realm 7th level directly. Bai Hanmo, who was typically impatient, stayed put this time. After all, Yi Shiwen had just saved their lives. He couldn't complain much. He could only cultivate patiently and continually. Soon he was close to Transcendent Realm 7th level. The improvement in strength was far exceeding everyone's imagination. Considering that Yi Shiwen and Yao Qian had both entered the state of close cultivation, it became unconducive for him to enter close cultivation as well. Otherwise, he would probably enter the state of close cultivation on the spot. Only Yu Cixi and Xiong Ziqing both looked at them with a wry smile. What did it mean to be a genius? Xiong Ziqing's current cultivation was higher than that of the trio, but in fact, the three of them were better than him in terms of potential. In addition to some uncontrollable factors such as adventures, how far a warrior could go was also related to age. Generally speaking, the older you are, the lesser the possibility of a breakthrough. Like Xiong Ziqing, although he still had a long way to go in terms of longevity, his potential was quite limited. Before the Law Manifestation Realm, there were 3 realms gap. Transcendent Realm 8th level, 9 level, half-step Law Manifestation. After attaining Transcendent Realm, one's lifespan had entered 10,000 years. There would be no growth after entering the Law Manifestation. In other words, unless one could cultivate immortality, 10,000 years might be the end of life for everyone. So unless it was someone who knew that he had no hope early, those geniuses always seize every minute and every second of their time to cultivate. It might seem it was not difficult to attain Transcendent Realm, but there was still the Law Manifestation Realm above Transcendent Realm. It appeared that achieving immortality through a higher realm was nothing but a legend. Their lifespans were already thousands of years. They were incomparable with the top geniuses like Yi Shiwen, and the rest who might be 100 and 200 years old. The trio's progress was visible to their eyes. They could only be envious about it. It was something they could not match. Bai Hanmo was bored, lying on the sea surface. Some vicious beasts were approaching initially. However, after Bai Hanmo, Xiong Ziqing, and Yu Cixi beheading a couple of them, those demonic sea beasts did not dare to come anymore. Despite their fierce and cruel nature, they had the intelligence to avoid formidable foes. Since Transcendent Realm 7th level's strength was exposed, Xiong Ziqing stopped hiding. Anyway, there was no meaning to it. In front of the unrestrained Xiong Ziqing, few demonic sea beasts could survive. Xiong Ziqing beheaded even a Transcendent Realm 7th level demonic sea beast that came because of the smell. The kill was neat. Bai Hanmo also had a change in perception of Xiong Ziqing after the battles. It appeared that Xiong Ziqing was not weak, but that Bai Yin was too strong. Even Xiong Ziqing could do nothing about it. Although Bai Hanmo was a bit careless and naive, he was not stupid. His way of treating people was relatively simple. Since Xiong Ziqing had proven his strength, Bai Hanmo would accept him. So in this month, although the three of them didn't talk much, they still got along happily, at least much better than they were at the beginning. Suddenly, Bai Hanmo raised his head directly, looked into the distance, and his expression became solemn. Xiong Ziqing noticed Bai Hanmo's anomaly. He was a bit baffled. Did Bai Hanmo notice something? But within the range of his spiritual senses, there was nothing unusual. After seeing Bai Hanmo was a dignified look, he immediately swept the spiritual senses in the direction Bai Hanmo was looking. Generally speaking, everyone's spiritual senses were limited. If one were to maintain vigilance in all directions, their alert range would be much smaller. Similarly, the range of detection would increase by focusing on one direction. Initially, his expression hadn't changed much. However, when he continued to sweep out his spiritual sense, his expression suddenly changed. He noticed a warrior group flying toward them aggressively in his detection range. Although they were too far apart with his spiritual senses barely detecting it, the information he got was enough to make the deductions. There was a sudden shock in his heart because he knew very well that he paid attention to that direction because he saw Bai Hanmo's expression. Without Bai Hanmo, he wouldn't even bother looking there. In other words, Bai Hanmo discovered the abnormality over there earlier than him. Even much earlier. Bai Hanmo's strength was much lower than him. How did Bai Hanmo do it? Bai Hanmo detected the group which he couldn't notice. At this moment, Yucc still didn't notice the enemy's approach. He sighed suddenly. Yucc and He Junlong were already young talents in their bear team. Yi Zaiwen's performance was already shocking. Yao Qian was like a shining star. Even this Bai Hanmo, who did not show much strength, had such a superior side. Beware of danger. At this time, he had to remind Yucc. Yucc was still a bit at a loss. She didn't know where the danger the captain said was, but after only a moment, her face changed drastically. Within her range of perception, someone rushed over swiftly. They were about to rush in front of the team. All of them were anxious. Typically, they could turn around and left, but the team couldn't do so now. Yi Shiwen was still in close cultivation in the oceanic trench. Yao Qian was also in close cultivation. Fleeing away was not an option. Bai Hanmo leaped, flying directly into the air. His body became tense, with his eyes staring fixedly into the distance. After a while, a group of warriors had appeared in the sight of the three of them. Xiong Zhiqing didn't expect that he saw a familiar figure, a figure that pained him the most, He Yulong. He Yulong brought these warriors over. There was a thump in his mind. He didn't know what to say. No wonder these people were able to chase them up. During this period, he had guessed vaguely that some enemy was chasing Yi Shiwen and others. But he still took the task resolutely. He always thought that he did a good job, hiding all traces. In a place like Chaos Demon Sea, it was impossible to be caught up by the opponent unless they had horrible luck. The probability was so small that it was almost negligible. If they did encounter the enemies, they had no other choice since it was just bad luck. However, Captain Xiong held no defense against his team member. He Yulong had learned from him for many years. He knew many bear team secret codes. At this time, his betrayal crushed all his defenses. For He Yulong, he treated him like a successor and gave him the best care. Captain Xiong would bring him along for any mission. He enjoyed the same treatment as Yucc. He did not intend to stay in the profession of the demon hunter for a lifetime. Sooner or later, he would retire. At that time, he would choose an heir between Yucc and He Yulong. It was precise because of this that he felt so sad. In the end, my successor betrayed me. Why did this happen? He still found it unbelievable and refused to believe it was true. It's the boy with the surname Bai. Yi Shiwen should be here. You have done a good job, He Yulong. The vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan will not mistreat you. Yi Hong was delighted to meet with Bai Hanmo finally. After all, Bai Hanmo had a great relationship with Yi Shiwen and Yao Qian. If Bai Hanmo were here, Yi Shiwen and Yao Qian would not go far. He immediately became excited. After so long, he found Yi Zaiwen's traces. He would never let Yi Shiwen escape this time. No problem. He Yulong kept his humility, but his eyes flashed with complacency at this time. Bastard, how dare you betray us? Chapter 927. Tipping Point. Bastard, how dared you betray us? Xiong Zhiqing pointed to He Yulong in disbelief. His heart was torn apart by the betrayal. Captain, I didn't betray you. Everyone from the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan said the lives of those three people have nothing to do with us. He Yulong stepped forward and said, Nothing to do with us? How naive. Xiong Zhiqing sneered. Have you forgotten the rules of our bear team? If this news is spread, does our bear team still have a footing in Chaos Demon Sea? In Chaos Demon Sea, reputation was the prime thing in this chaotic place. With the bear team's strength, if there was no good reputation, the team had no way to gain a footing in Chaos Demon Sea. No one would be willing to cooperate with them at all. It would be a dead end with no other way out. This was why Xiong Zhiqing agreed to cooperate with Yi Shiwen and the others. It's fine. As long as we kill them all, no one will know, said He Yulong hastily. Apparently, he had been thinking about it for a long time. He had already thought about everything in detail. When he said this, He Yulong's expression was abnormally ferocious, as if he was talking about an enemy with great hatred. Tisk, you're just someone elder brother Yi had defeated. You dare to conspire against us. Elder brother Yi is too merciful. You don't deserve to live. Sneered by Hanmo. He recognized He Yulong at first sight. He immediately became vigilant. If Xiong Zhiqing cooperated with He Yulong, then they might be in danger. Yao Qian and Yi Shiwen were both in close cultivation. No one could deal with the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan's expert. Fortunately, Xiong Zhiqing's reaction made him understand the situation. It did not happen as he imagined. He Yulong did not go through Xiong Zhiqing and called the shots on his own. Shut up. Do you think you can leave safely today? He Yulong yelled with a distorted expression. He was holding back his anger. You all are going to die today. Don't even think of leaving. All his anger poured out towards Bai Hanmo. If his eyes could kill people, Bai Hanmo would have been cut by slashes. However, it was a pity that Bai Hanmo ignored this gaze. He didn't care. He Yulong, I didn't expect you to become like this. Xiong Zhiqing pointed at He Yulong and growled with a bit of distress and disappointment. You're unscrupulous. Have you forgotten what I have taught you? What's going on? Who the hell is he? He humiliated me. And yet you don't help me but them. Am the one disappointed instead. He Yulong's face was hideous like a madman. He had never been humiliated before. Yi Shiwen taught him a miserable lesson. He couldn't even sustain an attack. In the end, Yi Ziwen's words made him faint too. In this case, Yi Shiwen must be one of the best to achieve such a feat. Yi Shiwen stomped all his self-esteem, like trampling on trash. What drove him crazy the most was that Xiong Zhiqing didn't choose him against a person who humiliated him so badly. Instead, he decided to help Yi Shiwen. For him, this was simply the most unbearable thing. He felt that he was the one who was betrayed. He only thought that the whole world owed him. At this moment, his only thought was to vent out his rage. The vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan expert came to him. Both sides hit it off at once. He joined with the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan experts in pursuit. Great! All my efforts to teach you have turned you into this. Xiong Zhiqing blurted with a twisted smile due to the overwhelming anger. He now discovered that the gap between He Yulong and Yi Shiwen was like heaven and earth. Not only because of the difference in combat strength, but it was also even more so in terms of being a person. Now in his opinion, even the most ignorant Bai Hanmo was 10,000 times more sensible than He Yulong. Fortunately, he had not handed the bear team over to him yet. Otherwise, the team would be done for. Stop wasting time on this nonsense. Since these people are stubborn, then kill them all, said Yi Hong impatiently at this time. He was only interested in Yi Shiwen. If he couldn't break him into pieces, his journey here had no meaning. Captain, you still have time to take your stance here now. He Yulong persuaded. Don't sacrifice yourself for that guy. It's too stupid. It's not worth it. Seeing He Yulong said this, Xiong Zhiqing had utterly given up any hope for him. His disappointed expression was beyond words. If this is the case, then there's no need to talk. Xiong Zhiqing shook his head. His expression was firm. There was a saying, do not work with people of different beliefs. The bear team held this principle closely. Breaking faith and treachery might not pose a problem short term. But a soulless team would disband sooner or later. The bear team was his life effort. Ruining it was the same as running his life. Since you don't repent and still want to help that guy, don't blame me for being cruel. Yulong's face was distorted. His hatred for Yi Shiwen turned him blind. He only had disgust for the former captain in his heart. Senior, there's no need to talk to him anymore. Bai Hanmo shook his head and said. He released his aura with his expression becoming serious. He had never been so serious. Fight with all you have. Tisk, interesting. I like it. I want to tear your flesh and blood piece by piece and eat it. The black-cloaked figure laughed wickedly. He opened his cloak. It turned out to be a demonic sea beast warrior with a head resembling a lizard. It was not a sea clan but a demonic sea beast clan because the demonic aura emanating from him was unmistakable. Everyone could feel it. Let me introduce myself. I am Yi Rue, one of the 4 warriors under the prince. The demonic sea beast expert introduced himself. Tell me the whereabouts of Yi Shiwen honestly. Otherwise, you will suffer a fate worse than death. His tone was wicked chill. Why didn't the prince come here in person? Bai Hanmo asked. During this period, he also knew some of the grievances between Yi Shiwen and the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan. The hatred was as deep as the sea. Yi Shiwen came to the Chaos Demon Sea, to a large extent, was to avoid the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan's pursuit. Among the younger generation, the prince headed the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan expert. I'm just disposing of a few bugs. The prince doesn't need to come in person. Irue sneered without taking Bai Hanmo's words to heart. In his mind, the prince had status way beyond them. Why would he come in person? In his heart, the prince was like a god, and the prince's enemy was his enemy. Let's skip the talking and just fight, Bai Hanmo yelled. At the same time, he was slightly relieved. If Crown Prince Crocodile came, then they were dead. Despite his carefree and indifferent attitude, Bai Hanmo wasn't an arrogant fool. Among the younger generation, Crown Prince Crocodile was definitely at the forefront. There were very few people who could contend with the prince, at least not him. If Bai Yin at Transcendent Realm 7th level was already terrifying, then Crown Prince Crocodile was a terrifying existence beyond this. Unless it was the unparalleled sword, it was impossible to suppress Crown Prince Crocodile at all. Since you refused to say it, then all shall die. At this time, Irue instantly rushed towards Bai Hanmo. The terrifying force tore through the vast sky. A black figure went straight to Bai Hanmo. The terrifying power of Transcendent Realm 7th level was at full display. Bang! Another figure blocked Irue's figure. It was none other than Xiong Ziqing. I'm your opponent, said Xiong Ziqing coldly. The power that belonged to Transcendent Realm 7th level was released entirely in an instant. The two of them were like two big mountains. They smashed into each other hard and set off a boundless wave of air, sweeping out in all directions. Can you stop me? Irue let out a cold snort at this moment. An intense killing intent flashed in his eyes. The clash of two Transcendent Realm 7th level experts escalated the scene. Their battle continued up in the sky. On the other side, Yucisi faced Hyulong. I didn't expect that the thief within us would make us so vulnerable. In the end, it will be you who betrayed us. The captain treats you so well. He taught you to become the next captain of our bear team. In the end, you thank him like that? Yucisi scolded. The next captain. Does he treat me to like a successor? He allowed someone to humiliate me so badly. Is this his treatment? Hyulong roared. Don't think that I don't know. He has already planned to make you the successor. Everything is biased towards you. You are beyond help. You have fallen too deeply, said Yucisi coldly, not wanting to argue further. And beyond help? I don't need anyone to help me anyway. You lots are dead. The bear team will be mine. I will tell everyone that you all died in the hands of the demonic sea beasts in Chaos Demon Sea, who will find out what happens. Hyulong laughed aloud. His expression was hideous. Chapter 928. I won't do this kind of thing shameless. Yucisi was already irritated. At this time, she was boiling with anger. She yelled and rushed over to Hyulong. I'm here to take your life. Yucisi's figure directly rushed out and attacked Hyulong. In the bear team, Yucisi and Hyulong were undoubtedly the best, widely known successors. But now, the two were fighting each other with no mercy. Brat, do you want to stop me? Yihong sneered and looked at Bai Hanmo in front of him. Although Bai Hanmo hadn't taken a shot yet, he didn't think that Bai Hanmo would be worthy of being his opponent. In his memory, Bai Hanmo was nothing more than a kid following behind Yao Qian. He wouldn't even take Yao Qian seriously. Although she seemed alright, there was still a big gap between him and her. Let's try it out. Bai Hanmo yelled violently. His figure immediately swept out. A white jade sword appeared in his hand. He launched a white jade horse in midair. This was the first time he made a sword attack. Even when he came to Chaos Demon Sea, he had never made a sword attack. Now that he did, it showed how serious he took the fight with Yihong. He watched the battle between Yi Shiwen and Yihong. Naturally, he knew Yihong was not a simpleton. If he did not go all out, he would be defeated in a moment. Leave this brat to me. You guys go and search for Yi Shiwen, Yi Hong said to the several cloaked demonic sea beast experts behind him. Yes, sir. These demonic sea beast experts wearing cloaks disappeared directly. You're courting death, brat. I will fulfill your death wish. Yi Hong sneered. A pair of steel claws appeared in his hand, glowing with a faint cold light. Facing Bai Hanmo, who was rushing over, he launched his steel claws immediately. His speed was breakneck. Despite Bai Hanmo attacking first, his attack came faster. His physical body was oppressive, capable of tearing the entire air casually like a peerless vicious beast. Ding! With a sound like a collision between metal and jade, the white jade long sword in Bai Hanmo's hand burst into a terrifying milky white sword light, which split the sky in an instant. The milky sword light and the opposing steel claws collided hard. As if something had collapsed, the air instantly exploded. Two horrible rays of light smashed together, forming a spherical energy ball that exploded instantly and swept in all directions. Surprise flashed in Yi Hong's eyes. A person who was far from himself previously managed to exchange blows with him. Although they were both at Transcendent Realm 6th level, their physical strength had a deep gap. Like how Bai Yin could easily kill Xiong Zicheng, there was still a difference among the same cultivation realm warriors. Bai Hanmo sneered. During this period, he had made outstanding progress aside from Yi Shiwen. He realized for the first time that his experience was too little. Otherwise, his cultivation realm would be more than that. The adventure was fruitful to him. This kind of experience could release his accumulated potential perfectly. He was unmatched to Yi Hong during the first encounter. However, he had no reluctance against Yi Hong with his Transcendent Realm 6th level peak. Even if not because Yi Shiwen and Yao Qian were already in close cultivation, forcing him to omit entering close cultivation, he would have attained Transcendent Realm 7th level some time ago. Although Transcendent Realm 7th level and 6th level had only one level of difference, the difference in combat strength should not be undermined. All in all, Transcendent Realm 6th level was at the Transcendent Realm Intermediate caliber, but Transcendent Realm 7th level was considered Transcendent Realm Late caliber. It was a significant gap. But even so, Bai Hanmo was not intimidated at all, waving the white sword in his hand and rushing up again. Yi Hong's eyes became a little dignified. Bai Hanmo was more difficult to fight than he thought, and even more challenging to kill. Bai Hanmo's combat strength had exceeded his imagination. Although he had witnessed Bai Hanmo's combat strength once before, it was not so strong at that time. However, his hesitation was only for an instant. Immediately, the steel claws in his hand grabbed Yi Shiwen again. Under the control of his 5 fingers, he instantly tore the sky, forming a terrifying air current, and swept it down. Jade-breaking demon beast claw. Yi Hong's hands grew bigger with dense chi entangled on them in the sky. Jade layers surfaced on the steel claws equipped on both his hands. He grabbed toward Bai Hanmo directly. It was paramount to deliver the fiercest attack once he took a move. After recognizing that Bai Hanmo was not as easy to deal with as he imagined initially, he mustered all his strength to deliver a full-out blow. He would not allow Bai Hanmo to turn the table like Yi Shiwen did. After suffering a loss in Yi Ziwen's hands, he was cautious. He would never let the same thing happen again. As for Bai Hanmo, who was facing this attack, he intensified the terrifying sword light, forming a white rainbow, and slashed out directly. Boom! The two terrifying powers produced an explosion in midair. It set off a monstrous wave, forming a rain in the sky. Facing Yi Hong at Transcendent Realm 6th level peak, Bai Hanmo did not lose out at all. Generally speaking, everyone has their limits. Different warriors have entirely different limits. The talented one could absorb more power. That was the reason for the difference in combat strengths despite being in the same realm. The fight between the two was far more oppressive than the average Transcendent Realm 6th level expert. Yi Hong sent out water waves, dashed straight up, and rushed to Bai Hanmo. His physical strength was too tyrannical. In addition to having suffered a loss in Yi Ziwen's hands, he had not suffered a loss in anyone else's hands. This time, he planned to utilize his tyrannical body cultivation to crush Bai Hanmo to death. The claw phantoms occupied the entire sky. The attack streaked across the sky and landed on Bai Hanmo. Bai Hanmo stepped back a little. He warped the sword light in the air on himself. When the claw phantoms caught on him, the sword lights had crushed them all. These sword lights were mighty in both offense and defense. Brat, you have a great talent. If you become my follower, your future will be limitless. Yi Hong roared, and even thought of conquering his enemy. He was envious of how the prince conquered and recruited the demonic sea beast experts as his 4 warriors. Generally speaking, the powerhouse had many followers around them, especially those in major clans or forces. Many people wanted to be the powerhouse followers, but how could he recruit just about anyone? Not everyone could be the powerhouse's followers. Generally speaking, the more influential the person, the stronger the follower. These followers might be their admirers or the enemies the powerhouse had defeated. These demonic sea beast experts became the prince's followers because they were defeated in the prince's hands. Eventually they had become his followers. In Yi Hong's opinion, the Bai Hanmo in front of him was qualified to be his follower. He was talented and strong. If he could have such a follower by his side, not only could he resolve many things, but most importantly, it would improve his reputation. Become your follower? What are you? I'm afraid you don't have the qualifications to make me your follower. Bai Hanmo yelled. The sword light in his hand became more intense. He broke off the claw phantoms and darted toward Yi Hong directly. Bai Hanmo progressed rapidly. On the other hand, Yi Hong had excellent talents. In terms of background, it far exceeded him. With Yi Hong's tyrannical body, it was easy for him to become restrained in front of Yi Hong. If he wanted to resolve this unfavorable situation, he must be the first to attack. The fundamental essence of the sword was offense rather than defense. The sword user would never cower. They ran by the doctrine. With one sword in his hand, he would conquer the world. The sword in his hand could defeat anything. Stubborn. Today marks the death of Yi Shiwen and Yao Qian. Are you going to die along with them? Said Yi Hong viciously, not giving up the opportunity to convince Bai Hanmo. It was not typical to come across such a follower. If it weren't for driving Bai Hanmo to a dead end today, he wouldn't have considered convincing Bai Hanmo. After becoming his follower, he naturally had a way to deal with Bai Hanmo. By that time, Bai Hanmo was within his grasp already. He had all his ways to control Bai Hanmo. Ha ha ha, stupid crocodile. Do you think I'm someone like you? A coward that betrays your friends? I won't do this kind of thing. Bai Hanmo yelled and fought fiercely with Yi Hong. Damn it, stubborn human. Yi Hong gave up entirely trying to convince Bai Hanmo. In his eyes a fierce light flickered. Since he couldn't put Bai Hanmo for his use, he would not allow Bai Hanmo to live. The claw phantoms in his hand flickered. A monstrous wave that was under his control swept across the opponent. It morphed into a massive crocodile capable of devouring the sky and lunged at Bai Hanmo. Heaven and earth were trembling in front of the vicious crocodile. Chapter 929. Bouncing back from desperation. Trash, I will end your life. Bai Hanmo sneered again and again. The white jade long sword in his hand emitted rays of brilliance. He was like the deity of the sword Tao. As he waved his sword down, the entire sky appeared as though being split apart. There was an earth-shattering collision between the two. The massive crocodile phantom slammed into Bai Hanmo's longsword sword light. The terrifying and fierce light exploded. The white jade sword in Bai Hanmo's hand seemed magical, blooming with endless brilliance as if to destroy the world. This white jade long sword was not simple, but Yi Hong was not a simpleton in the same way. That massive crocodile was also unprecedentedly mighty. Two terrifying forces collided fiercely in the air. Countless air collapsed in an instant. The endless brilliant divine light, mixed with sword light, slammed together and danced around wildly. The air collapsed layer by layer in everyone's eyes. Bai Hanmo yelled violently. The sword light instantly penetrated the massive and fierce crocodile. It immediately turned into a water tide in the sky. These waters were also not ordinary. Every drop was heavy, and it struck Bai Hanmo in an instant. Although Bai Hanmo was able to block some of it, he couldn't block all the water droplets. Boom, boom, boom. Bai Hanmo let out a muffled groan. These extremely heavy water droplets knocked him away. A mouthful of blood spurted out. There was still a gap between his strength and Yi Hong. Although his potential exceeded Yi Hong, it was clear that his potential had not been fully transformed into strength. In other words, he had wasted his potential because of his character and playful nature. Bai Hanmo was blasted away for a distance before he could barely stop himself. He fixed his eyes on Yi Hong. Only then did he regret it. If he had been working hard since the start, the situation would not turn out like this. Even if he could enter the Transcendent Realm 7th level, he could easily kill Yi Hong. He would not end up in such a sorry state. Only then did he finally understand what Yao Qian said. He was indeed a genius. It was hard to encounter a worthy opponent in the same realm. Among his peers there were very few having the speed faster than him. He could outmatch most people. In his life and the world he came into contact with, he was destined to encounter not only warriors whose strength was much lower than him, but also opponents whose strength was much higher than him. By then, it would be the time for the real test. Although Yi Hong's strength was far from being much more robust than his, even a slight gap could cause fatal consequences in this high-level battle, not to mention such a noticeable gap. Under this blow, Bai Hanmo was blown away again and spurted with blood, but Yi Hong did not stop. Although his strength was more potent than Bai Hanmo, it was only slightly rather than an overwhelming advantage. Bai Hanmo made an all-out effort to fight him. Yi Hong also suffered minor shock. However, he didn't stop at this time but chased out again. A territory quickly spread out, enveloping Bai Hanmo in it. I offer you a chance, yet you still hang on your death wish. Why don't you cherish it? Go to hell. Yi Hong laughed aloud. In his opinion, Bai Hanmo, who had fallen into his territory, was already at a dead end. There shouldn't be many people like Yi Shiwen who could forcibly break apart the territory. Stop your nonsense. You're not worthy of subduing me? Bai Hanmo sneered. He appeared like a madman in his sorry state, but his pride still shot to the sky. He couldn't care less about anything at this time. His only plan was to delay time, no matter if it was for Yao Qian or Yi Shiwen. Every minute delayed was previous. He got to delay Yi Hong and the rest. Otherwise, it would be a disaster for Yi Shiwen and Yao Qian in close cultivation. The aftermath of the battle was tremendous. He believed that Yi Shiwen and Yao Qian could feel that even in close cultivation. What he had to do now was to wait for them to exit from their close cultivation. He swore to hold these enemies and not to let them rush into the oceanic trench. Bai Hanmo flew out suddenly, and once again approached Yi Hong. In the heavy water territory, his speed was undoubtedly slower. The droplets of heavy water were all over the sky. The strong wind accompanied each hulking droplet. Once it slapped on a person's body, it was equivalent to being bombarded with a punch. The corner of Bai Hanmo's mouth spilled blood, but he had no way to stop it. At this time he had to retreat to hold on. Since you want to die, then I will fulfill your death wish. Yi Hong sneered. All of the power in his body began to boil and scattered all at once. He stepped forward. The heavy water territory seemed to be under intense stimulation. It began to magnify crazily. In the heavy water territory, the only law he had was the law of gravity. Under the law of gravity, Bai Hanmo could hardly move an inch. Come here, trash. Bai Hanmo roared, looking at Yi Hong with bloodshot eyes. On the other hand, the two battlefield situations were in crisis, especially Xiong Ziqing's battlefield. He was beaten into retreat. Although they were both in Transcendent Realm 7th level, and Yi Rui's strength was far inferior to Bai Yin, Xiong Ziqing had no way to resist. Yi Rui turned out to be quite tyrannical. He had already entered the Transcendent Realm 7th level peak, which was much stronger than Xiong Ziqing. Captain Xiong directly vomited blood amidst his retreat. Fortunately, since there was no overwhelming advantage similar to Bai Yin, there was no fatal threat for a while despite Xiong Ziqing continually retreating. However, the whole situation was terrible. On the other side, the battle between Yu Cixi and He Yulong was the fiercest. Yu Cixi was angry that He Yulong had betrayed their bear team, which caused the dangerous situation to happen, and almost wiped out the entire team. She even thought that He Yulong had lost his mind to utilize dirty tricks to get the bear team. He Yulong had long been blinded by hatred. He was too ambitious. just thinking that after killing Xiong Ziqing and Ucc, he could gain control of the bear team. The past friendship worth nothing in his opinion at this time. It was nothing but a joke. It was an intense battle. The horrifying exchange of blows sent out flesh and blood everywhere. Between the two sides, there were no reservations. Each punch had the intention to kill. Both were in a sorry state with mutilated wounds everywhere, even with some of their bones broken. Similar to the situation on Xiong Ziqing's side. He Yulong also had the absolute upper hand. Since he was Xiong Ziqing's preferred successor previously, Xiong Ziqing diverted all efforts and resources in the emphasis of growing He Yulong's strength. In this life-and-death battle, He Yulong defeated Ucc gradually. He had bloodshot eyes due to the pain in his body and the ambition in his heart. At this time he could no longer care less about friendship. He had utterly dwelled in the idea of beheading her. Ucc was in a berserk state. She fought without thinking of her life and death. She was determined to do it for Xiong Ziqing, kill He Yulong, and eliminate the team's betrayer. Ha ha ha, it's useless. You are dead today. Anyone who dares to stand in front of me will die. At this time, He Yulong's eyes were bloodshot. He yelled frantically. You must die, He Yulong. Today, I must eliminate the betrayer in the team for the captain before I die. Ucc went berserk. Her obsession was to eradicate the team's betrayer. This obsession supported her to fight until now. Both had cooperated and fought side by side for many years. They knew each other's fighting styles and even what tricks each other had. Naturally, in front of this person, there was no opening to be opportunistic. The only way was a direct attack without considering any opportunistic tricks. Since they knew each other too well, a head-to-head battle was the most efficient. Boom. 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 The fist fight was surreal. Once again, both were blown away from each other. This time, Ucc could not get up again. After He Yulong severely injured her just now, her breath was so weak. Her vitality began to lose quickly, unable to get up anymore. Ha ha ha, you have a death wish. You dare to go against me. The bear team is mine. No one can get involved. He Yulong laughed out loud with blood overflowing from the corner of his mouth. As he laughed wildly while continually coughing up blood, the scene was horrifying. He eradicated a long-standing enemy in one move. He Yulong stood up in difficulty. Although standing up was tough, he was much stronger than Ucc. The chi on his body boiled again. He darted toward Ucc to kill her. Suddenly, a dazzling sword light pierced the vast sky, slashed through the sky and the earth in an instant, and came in He Yulong's direction. He Yulong, who was already severely injured, was shocked. He quickly moved away, hiding in his surroundings. But this sword light was swift. Even if he was in the peak state, he could not avoid it, let alone he was now in a state of serious injury. Puff! In an instant, the sword light pierced He Yulong's neck and tore an opening. He Yulong's head slipped directly from his body. Chapter 930. Stunning the audience, Yihong directly pushed Bai Hanmo into an uphill battle. Bai Hanmo had his speed dropped due to the heavy water territory. It became much worse than before. Without speed, Bai Hanmo lacked ways to launch attacks. Today marks your death anniversary date. Eventually, your life will be in my grasp. Yihong sneered. The steel claws on Yihong's hand burst out limitless light, as if it could tear the world apart. After all, the steel claws were an excellent human-level martial art instrument. It was not an exaggeration to say that it could tear the sky apart. The space that the claws grasped was distorted with 5 lines drawn in the sky. But since you are here, then Yi Shiwen and Yao Qian should be around here too. Yihong sneered and said, I want to see if they will come out when you die. I will raise everything to the ground. I don't believe that Yi Shiwen will not come out. Bai Hanmo was surprised, having the weakness of his side pointed out. At this time, if Yihong were to go all out in ruining this place, it wouldn't take long for him to damage the oceanic trench where Yi Shiwen hid. That would be the most terrible situation. With Yihong's ability and character, it was inevitable that this would be his next move. I have to do everything I can to stop him. You are full of nonsense. Bai Hanmo sneered, wielded the white jade long sword in his hand, and rushed out. The attack directly pierced the void, splitting countless air. Bai Hanmo appeared formidable in this strike, with the air trembling. Death Wish. Yi Hong imbued the boundless divine light directly into his steel claws and slammed into Bai Hanmo in midair. Countless air which the steel claws passed by had exploded. A storm of destruction swept out. Yi Hong's relentless attack was unstoppable. Bai Hanmo retreated with another mouthful of blood spurted out. It appeared he had suffered a fatal injury. Yi Hong was overjoyed and chased forward directly, approaching Bai Hanmo. A smug smile flashed at the corner of Bai Hanmo's mouth. The already weak arm suddenly tensed up. The long sword hand pierced directly into Yi Hong's body. This surprise caught Yi Hong entirely off guard. He didn't expect that Bai Hanmo still had the strength to inflict severe injury on him. Or, to be more precise, Bai Hanmo would fake injury to lure him. After tricking him over, Yi Hong suffered heavy losses in the sword attack. After a severe sword thrust on Yi Hong, Bai Hanmo was delighted. His scheme was the final resort. In the heavy water territory, Yi Hong was the only true god. Under the gravity, there was no way for Bai Hanmo to utilize his speed. In this case, it was better to lure Yi Hong in approaching him. You dare to hurt me. It will make you suffer. Yi Hong's expression was distorted. He went mad for being injured by someone he belittled before. Yi Hong laughed angrily, grabbing forward with the steel claws in his hand. This grasp collapsed an area of space, making it terrifying. The steel claw's speed was so fast that it instantly caught Bai Hanmo's body. Boom! Bai Hanmo's chest was caught, and it was severely mutilated. His figure flew out directly, suffering severe damage. Bai Hanmo was blasted out, and flew directly for dozens of miles before he stopped. Yi Hong's steel claws tore apart flesh pieces with blood still dripping on it. The impact broke many of Bai Hanmo's bones too. I have never been in such a sorry state before. Bai Hanmo chuckled. A tyrannical aura on his body started to boil. His skin began to turn into the color of jade. However, only death awaits you. He seemed to have made up his mind, and let go of some restraints. This battle incited his anger. His next move would be merciless. Only by beheading Yi Hong could he get rid of his hatred. Yi Hong shuddered when he saw Bai Hanmo's action, although he didn't know the exact reason. He could feel an oppressive aura surging on Bai Hanmo. He didn't know what Bai Hanmo was planning, but his instinct warned him to stop Bai Hanmo immediately. If the situation continued, he might be in danger. I will win in the end. It is undeniable that both you and Yi Shiwen have amazing talents. Even in the future, I will not be able to contend with you. But so what? You both have not fully developed yet. Only death awaits. Water attribute cheese fluctuated continuously on Yi Hong's body. His expression was icy. It was undeniable that at this moment, he felt fear as if he had encountered Yi Shiwen, who had turned the table before. The memory Yi Shiwen left him at that time was so deep. He never even thought that his territory would be torn apart one day. If Yi Shiwen grew to the same level as him one day, it would be a disaster. Yi Shiwen, who had a terrifying combat power, could crush him as though he was a minute ant. Therefore, he would not sit still while watching this happen. In his mind, geniuses weren't intimidating. He had witnessed many geniuses perished. For him, there was no place for this kind of warrior. Their only destination should be death. With this thought in mind, he continued to take action, to chase and kill Yi Shiwen, and vowed not to stop. Facing Bai Hanmo brought up his previous memory in facing Yi Shiwen, making him panicked. Unfortunately, you have no chance. Today you must die. Yi Hong's expression was a bit cold and hideous. Cough. Bai Hanmo kept coughing up blood and said with a smile, "Trash, you are still far behind from defeating me." Stubborn. Yi Hong sealed the severe wound on his body, which Bai Hanmo's sword inflicted. Immediately he darted in Bai Hanmo's direction. "Am unreconciled with this. If I have the chance again, I will cultivate with hard work. I will never let this kind of trash kill me." Bai Hanmo was unwilling, shouting in his heart. He was unwilling to lose. With his eyes closed, he was powerless to resist this wave of attack. He hated it so much in his heart. He hated himself for not cultivating vigorously in the past. This would lead to such a situation. If he cultivated well and attained Transcendent Realm 7th level, or even Transcendent Realm 8th level, everything would be no doubt a piece of cake. But in his heart, he had never regretted this trip. He acted like a child in his style, and so on. However, he understood what he wanted. Despite the carefree personality, he was not a fool. He knew what he was doing and what he wanted to do. Although life was precious, some things were more important than life. Although he was unwilling to die at this time, he never regretted it. A violent shout came out from the seabed. An unparalleled sword aura swooshed out. The glaring sword light enveloped this area. The sea waves where the sword aura passed were automatically slashed in half. This sword aura, compared to the sword aura issued by Hanmo just now, was many times tyrannical. At this time, it bombarded Yihang fiercely. When Yihang, who was still acting arrogant, faced this sword aura, he was like a child. All his defenses were directly torn apart. Sword aura impacted his physical body in an instant. Yihang suddenly felt that a horrible sword aura running rampant in his body. His figure was launched away into the sky. He immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. Several sword auras appeared at the same time. Those demonic sea beast experts in black cloaks, who wanted to hunt Yishiwen down, were instantly beheaded. Their strength was not even as good as by Hanmo and Yihang. At this time, they were completely vulnerable, thus allowing the sword aura to blast them into clusters of blood mist. At this time, only Yihang could barely raise his head and shout. A terrifying aura in the sea instantly soared. An unimaginable tyrannical aura swept out in the sea. The terrifying aura separated the seawater. A cyan figure flew out and stepped on the thin air under the sword light. How is it possible? How could it be you? Yihang said in disbelief as he looked at the cyan figure. That figure was none other than Yishiwen, whom he was hunting. Yihang stared at Yishiwen dumbfounded, unable to believe that it turned out to be Yishiwen. The feeling was different from the time when Yishiwen stayed low. Yishiwen revealed his sharp demeanor openly like he was an unsheathed sword. Anyone dared to glimpse over would feel vulnerable, as though something was going to stab into them at any second. Moreover, Yishiwen grew stronger after the advancement. Although the previous Yishiwen was dreadful, it was not too big of a threat in the end. Yishiwen defeated Yihang with much effort in the past rather than how easy it looked at this moment. He killed a group of demonic sea beast experts with ease too. These were the Prince's Guard. They belonged to the elite among the experts. Although they were not as good as Irue, they were the backbones. However, Yishiwen dealt with them without even sweating. These demonic sea beasts experts could not fight back at all. Tien notes, I made an error. Starting from chapter 920, the experts following Yihang were sea demon clans rather than demonic sea beasts clans. Chapter 931, Transcendent Realm 4th level. This terrifying combat power immediately frightened him. He suddenly realized that the former enemy that he swore to hunt down had become so alarming. Seeing Yishiwen undergoing a change with the gap akin to heaven and earth, he immediately thought of something. Did Yishiwen attain a breakthrough? Relatively speaking, the changes from Transcendent Realm 3rd level to 4th level did not seem much. Although there were some changes entering the 4th level from the 3rd level in the case of Yihang, it was not a shocking upgrade. However, the person who completed this transformation was Yishiwen. At Transcendent Realm 3rd level, Yishiwen could already contend with Transcendent Realm 6th level expert, let alone now. Since he attained Transcendent Realm 4th level, he had reached the Transcendent Realm intermediate stage, throwing away his past self at Transcendent Realm initial stage. His combat power had undergone earth-shaking changes. This terrified Yihang the most. Impossible. How could it be you? How could you have a breakthrough in such a short period? At this time, Yihang was still stunned, unable to believe the facts before him. At this time, he remembered the file about Yishiwen in the Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan. It said that every time Yishiwen emerged, his strength was fundamentally different from the past. Each advancement involved a considerable gap. It was accurate to say that the clan had been watching Yi Zaiwen's growth. Faced with this baffling scene, there were only two explanations. One explanation was that Yi Shiwen was hiding his strength. Next, he could break through continuously. Hiding one's true strength wasn't surprising, but if it were a constant breakthrough, that would be genuinely shocking. It indicated that Yi Shiwen had a remarkable talent. At least, no one could continuously ascend like him in such a short time. Such an enemy was paramount to be killed in the cradle. Continuous failure would allow this terrifying enemy to grow to such an ominous realm. It was a fatal threat for the entire clan. Yi Shiwen did not answer Yi Hong but stared at Yi Hong coldly and said, "Everyone who comes here today will have to die." Yi Ziwen's palm spread out with a ball of flame materialized in it. It instantly turned into a fiery saber aura and shot out immediately. Yi Hong, who had suffered a terrible injury, couldn't stop it at all. He was instantly cut in half. Both his spirit and the body were slashed in half. Everyone stared at this scene in a daze. A Transcendent Realm 6th level proud talent could not even stop a slash coming from Yi Shiwen. Yi Hong was instantly beheaded. For everyone, it was like a miracle. Especially by Hanmo, he had been dragging the fight with Yi Hong to the present, so he knew Yi Hong's combat power most clearly. Naturally, he grasped how terrifying Yi Hong was. Even if he tried his best, he couldn't deal with Yi Hong. Yi Shiwen slashed the opponent into half without breaking a sweat. It was the very same formidable enemy he struggled with. Yi Ziwen's combat power is unimaginable. Yi Ziwen's first slash in injuring Yi Hong mortally seemed to have the element of ambush. Bai Hanmo knew it well that Yi Hong was still outmatched in a head-on confrontation. The combat power difference between the two was too far apart. That slash intimidated even the heaven and earth. It appeared unstoppable. After his breakthrough, Yi Shiwen had turned out so strong. At this time, only He Yulong and Yi Rui left. He Yulong was going to deliver the final killing blow on Yi Sisi. However, after seeing such a terrifying figure appeared, he immediately fled frantically without hesitation. He flew towards the distance, wanting to escape. Yi Shiwen just smiled coldly. He waved his hand. A sharp saber aura streaked across the vast sky and chased He Yulong. Puff! Accompanied with the sound of saber aura entering the flesh, He Yulong was directly cut in half on the spot. Blood painted the blue sky. The mutilated corpse fell straight from the sky. Although he hated He Yulong, who betrayed them, Xiong Ziqing still showed a sad expression when he saw Yi Shiwen beheading He Yulong. He opened his mouth, but was unable to utter a word. He wanted to plead for He Yulong, but he also realized it was inappropriate at all. In the end, his eyes flickered a few times, and he didn't say anything. However, seeing that Yi Shiwen had already exited from close cultivation, he was slightly relieved. He knew the horror laid within Yi Shiwen. This time, he would stand firmly on Yi Ziwen's side. In addition to the bear team's honor, Yi Ziwen's terrifying power was an important reason. As long as he could stick to the end when Yi Shiwen exited close cultivation, then he would be worry-free. Although Yi Rui was tough, the opponent was not as scary as Bai Yin. "Are you Yi Shiwen?" Yi Rui's eyes were cold. He stretched out his crimson tongue and licked his lips, giving off the appearance when encountering a prey. "It's effortless to get to you. Are you so sure about defeating me?" said Yi Shiwen lightly. "You're just a minute human being. How dare you go against my master? It is God's will to kill you today. You must die." Yi Rui sneered. "These trash deserves their death. I alone am enough to take your head, and you all too." "You alone? It just so happens I had my breakthrough. I haven't gone all out in a battle yet," replied Yi Shiwen nonchalantly. The thick qi in Yi Ziwen's body created terrifying ripples with him in the center. The terrifying momentum instantly stirred up endless waves on the sea. At this time, Yi Rui became a little vigilant. This Yi Shiwen is different from the initial information. He's no longer at Transcendent Realm 3rd level, but attained the Transcendent Realm 4th level. But what shocked him was that Yi Shiwen was only Transcendent Realm 4th level. And yet this human exuded an aura that trembled his heart. Most importantly, the vigilant Xiong Ziqing was watching him. Although Yi Rui did not bat an eye on Xiong Ziqing, it might lead to irreversible consequences if Xiong Ziqing suddenly intervened at the most critical time. Yi Shiwen had just stepped into the Transcendent Realm 4th level. He did not have the time to have total control over himself. His momentum was soaring like an unsheathed sword. After entering the Transcendent Realm 4th level, Yi Shiwen sensed the earth-shaking changes. This was a power that he could not muster at Transcendent Realm 3rd level. There was a deep dividing line between the Transcendent Realm 3rd level and the Transcendent Realm 4th level. Changes from Transcendent Realm Initial to Transcendent Realm Intermediate were even greater than the changes in the first 3 levels of Transcendent Realm. If he had only entered Transcendent Realm 3rd level from 2nd level at this time, his combat strength could not contend with Irue, who was already at Transcendent Realm 7th level. Transcendent Realm 6th level and Transcendent Realm 7th level had a great dividing line in terms of Transcendent Realm Intermediate to late. Yi Shiwen had no idea how strong he became. With Bai'in's Blood Essence and Purple Ghost Fire Lotus, he entered the Transcendent Realm 4th level and successfully ascended to the Transcendent Realm 4th level peak. After entering the Transcendent Realm 4th level, it would take a long time for cultivation accumulation. However, Yi Shiwen reached the peak at the level after assimilating the energy from Bai'in's Blood Essence and Purple Ghost Fire Lotus. At this moment, his realm had become stable as though it was the fruit of cultivation and hard work. This significant improvement was also why so many demonic sea beast experts fought for Purple Ghost Fire Lotus. These Purple Ghost Fire Lotus efficacy was heaven-defying. It could steadily help the demonic sea beast with the demon clan lineage to reach the next level without any ramifications. Although Yi Shiwen was not of the demon clan lineage, he had a tremendous advantage compared to those with the demon clan lineage due to the Tianyuan mirror. Yi Zaiwen's arm was quickly wrapped in a raging fire. He waved his arm, slashing out a terrifying saber aura directly. The saber aura crushed all directions, collapsing the air entwined in the sky. It was like tearing the sky forcibly. Humph! Irue snorted coldly. He stepped out and sent a massive water spear directly. It glinted with endless brilliance and blasted down directly against the oncoming saber aura. Boom! Water spear and saber aura slammed into each other in midair. The horrifying fluctuations quickly swept out an unimaginable terrifying storm in all directions. After the violent collision, Yi Zaiwen's saber aura directly cut through the water spear, blasted it apart, and turned it into rain in the sky. Unabated, the saber aura went straight to Irue once again. Irue's figure dashed away. He could barely avoid this deadly saber aura. The saber aura rubbed his body, and blood sprayed out directly. Irue was immediately shocked. Yi Zaiwen's strength was so terrifying, much more frightening than he thought. In the previous matchup, he suffered a terrible loss. Yi Shiwen almost killed him on the spot, sending him into 2 halves. If he hadn't reacted quickly enough, he would die in Yi Zaiwen's hands on the spot. At this time, Yi Shiwen had already approached. His speed was swift. When Irue felt the danger, Yi Shiwen had already appeared just right in front. The fiery long saber in his hand seemed capable of burning everything, crisp clean. The saber aura slashed across the sky and slammed at Irue's body. Yi Zaiwen's fiery saber aura instantly slashed away all the aura barriers on Irue's body. Irue summoned countless demon auras and transformed them into multiple little demon heads. These demon heads darted towards Yi Shiwen. Chapter 932. Another trouble popping, and soon the demon aura surrounding Irue was depleted in an instant. It turned into little demon heads and shot towards Yi Shiwen. Each demon head was hideous. Their features were blue faces and fangs, just like Azura in the underworld. Most people with weak minds would be frightened to death. Yi Zaiwen's expression remained unchanged. All the pores on his body opened, spewing fiery saber auras. He was like a fire that burned in the sky. Those little demon heads rushed over were either burnt to death or cut in half, unable to get close to Yi Zaiwen's body. The attacks blasted Irue away. Only then did he finally understand that he could not judge the person's combat strength in front of him based on the cultivation realm. Although Yi Shiwen was only at the Transcendent Realm 4th level, this human had the terrifying combat strength that could defeat him. Yi Shiwen was peerless among the Transcendent Realm 4th level warriors. Never mind the task assigned to him by Crown Prince Crocodile this time. Surviving through this ordeal posed a challenge. Thinking of this, he disregarded his injuries and ran away frantically into the distance. The rest of the three were dumbfounded. A Transcendent Realm 7th level peak warrior flurried away. Such a scene was unimaginable. Is he still the Yi Shiwen that takes so much effort to defeat Bai Yin? They all saw how sorry of the state Yi Shiwen was at that time. It took some luck to defeat Bai Yin. Otherwise, he could not contend with Bai Yin. But now, the same Transcendent Realm 7th level peak warrior fled in disarray. The trio knew Yi Shiwen had attained a breakthrough, but they didn't expect him to become so strong after the breakthrough. He was different from before. Most people couldn't imagine it. They even wanted to peel off Yi Zaiwen's skin to see if it was still Yi Shiwen inside. We can't let him escape, reminded Xiong Jiqing quickly at this time. But even if he didn't say anything, Yi Shiwen wouldn't let the enemy go. He immediately caught up with him with a stride. It was only a moment's effort that he had caught up with Yi Rui. Without holding off, he beheaded the opponent with a slash. After slaying Yi Rui, all the aura of Yi Zaiwen's body gradually converged. He was unlike an unsheathed sword, but more like a sword that had hidden all the edges. He had become another person now, unlike the heroic him just now. It was like having two completely different vibes appearing in one person, which was quite difficult for all three of them to accept it so abruptly. Yi Shiwen, who had ascended to the Transcendent Realm 4th level peak, did not need a long time to consolidate like the others to gain full control of this power. Therefore, he would not worry about whether he might regress like ordinary people after just attaining a breakthrough. Although this possibility was minute for the bigger crowd, it was still a concern they should not be undermined. Once it happened, it could not be undone. Yi Zaiwen's expression had not changed. Killing Yi Rui was nothing to him. Yi Rui was strong. If Yi Shiwen did not attain Transcendent Realm 4th level's peak, Yi Rui might become a strong rival. However, it would not be much of a threat after gaining the 4th level's peak state. In the Transcendent Realm 7th level, among the experts Yi Shiwen had ever encountered, only Bai Yin might make him go all out for the battle. Previously, Yi Shiwen had no bearing in combating Bai Yin. If he hadn't relied on Tyrant Body and Phoenix regeneration technique, he would have died long ago. He knew this very well too. Only now could he have peace of mind and confidence to win Bai Yin if the battle were to occur again. Bai Yin with an awakened demon god bloodline was terrifying. Yi Shiwen looked at Xiong Jiqing, Yu Cixi, and Bai Hanmo. Although he had been in close cultivation, he still left some part of his spiritual consciousness to the outside world. That was to stay vigilant and not be attacked by others. Therefore, Yi Shiwen witnessed what they did clearly. If the trio did not intervene when Yi Shiwen was in close cultivation, it would be impossible to achieve the current significant progress. These people did live up to his trust and gritted their teeth until the close cultivation was over, especially Bai Hanmo. Yi Shiwen found his performance admirable. Even Yi Shiwen did not expect that Bai Hanmo could go this far. He was committed to fighting to the death. Bai Hanmo's temperament also seemed to have undergone earth-shaking changes. Although he still had the careless vibe, it gave off a sharp essence. This was what Bai Hanmo had always lacked. Everything was too easy for him in the past. Due to this, he gave off a feeling that his potential was untapped despite the outstanding talent. In other words, it was like he was wasting his talent. If this were to continue, his talent would be used up one day. A person's talent was limited, but his talent did not entirely determine a person's achievement. This applied to many people. Their achievements were far beyond their talent, as they said you couldn't judge the book by its cover. Some had wholly wasted their talents and did not achieve incredible feats. What Bai Hanmo lacked was an adventure like this. After gaining these experiences, he could genuinely manifest his talents. Of course, the most important thing was that he seemed to have found his heart. He only could be strong but did not have the strong heart to match it. Yi Shiwen had seen a lot of people like this. They were those who gave up when things went wrong. However, Bai Hanmo's performance this time was impressive. With Bai Hanmo's talent, his future achievements were limitless if he were to work hard. Although he was bothered with Bai Hanmo acting too close to him, it didn't felt bad after a long time. At least this kid did not have bad intentions. Anyway, you all have worked hard, complimented Yi Shiwen. The group did not abandon Yi Shiwen at the moment like this, which moved Yi Shiwen to accept them from the bottom of his heart. He took a step forward and treated Yu Cece. Among these people, Yu Cece's injury was the most serious, while Bai Hanmo's situation was the most optimistic. Yi Shiwen didn't know Bai Hanmo's recovery martial art techniques. It only took a while for Bai Hanmo to recover for a large part, at least not in the state of being seriously injured and dying. Xiong Ziqing on the side looked at Yu Cece worried. He Yulong was dead. Among the two bear team's successors, only Yu Cece was left. He could no longer afford to lose the other one. But fortunately, Yi Ziwen's Phoenix regeneration technique was indeed magical. It didn't take long before Yu Cece had restored to a ruddy complexion. Her chi was quickly restored too. Thank you. Yu Cece heaved a breath and said with vigor. At this time, she understood why Yi Shiwen was able to contend with Bai Yin and eventually kill Bai Yin. The recovery speed was unprecedented. It could even be said to be unheard of. With such a recovery speed, coupled with a tyrannical physique, this was the trump card that contended with Bai Yin. This was the only reason. You're welcome. It should be me thanking you, replied Yi Shiwen. It was not troublesome for him to treat her. Soon, Yi Shiwen helped Xiong Ziqing and Bai Hanmo with their injuries. Since Yi Shiwen had exposed his capability in this aspect beforehand, he did not mind it any further. Anyway, the team only knew he had a great recovery technique, but none knew its details. Xiong Ziqing and Yu Cece were delighted. They had been in Chaos Demon Sea for many years. Of course, they knew how important a good recovery martial art technique was in a place like Chaos Demon Sea. It was because Chaos Demon Sea was too chaotic. So many times they had no time to rest before going for the next battle. It was an essential concern on whether they could recover their combat strength. If Yi Shiwen was with them, they didn't need to worry too much about this issue. They had seen with their own eyes that Yi Shiwen had fully recovered to the peak in just a few moments. Regarding this, they were amazed. When it was their teammates' ability, then they were left with a huge surprise. After a little rest, everyone entered short close cultivation and began to digest the experience and gains brought about by this battle. Although the battle was dangerous this time, with their lives endangered, it was fruitful. The experience of wandering by the death door was not something that ordinary cultivation could bring. Only in such constant battles could a breakthrough be attained. But this time, Yi Shiwen didn't enter close cultivation. He had already ascended to Transcendent Realm 4th level peak. It wasn't quite effective to engage in another one. If Yi Shiwen wanted to break through, he would need to rely on actual combat. Therefore, he did not choose to continue close cultivation, but began his adventure in this sea region while waiting for Yao Qian to come out of her close cultivation. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.